Oh shit, I mucked that up.
Greetings.
Afternoon, gents. How's it going?
How you doing, folks?
It's just me and Martin tonight, as some of you will have probably seen.
True
myself, and this is Martin.
In true slasher movie tradition, we're yet another man down. One person disappears every time. I think our April live streams used going to be like a shot of some shallow graves in the graves in the forest. Just 2 hours of some shallow graves with like little
totally non-horror boys in the back. They'll be the ones flying the stream. Jesus.
It would just be the Flight of the Conchords.
That's it. I know, that's what I'm thinking up the back. So, have you been, Martin? You have a good Christmas and that?
Medium
Christmas.
Yeah, not bad.
Medium rare Christmas.
I'm enjoying my Tigger mug.
Oh well.
Thanks for that.
Oh, we've already got some in the chat.
Hello.
Welcome to our veritable live stream. I've got a bit of fun to kick off with. We've got a few fun games as usual, and we did it without Michael. Normally he's the games master, but tonight we've got. I'm going to mix it up a bit. So I've got the Red Bowl of live stream goodness, and there's my pal Stuart. Good to see you, Stuart, or not see Stuart. You. See you in the chat.
Good to see your name.
Good to see your name. Your lovely blue text. Right, so. Basically, this game's going to be kind of similar to what we've done before, but different. In this bowl that you will have to pick from, so I'm going to swap. You've got this bowl. Now, Martin hasn't seen the contents of this bowl, and I haven't seen the contents in Martin's bowl. In Martin's bowl is famous horror monsters, right?
Monsters, not monsters.
I've got this problem again. I can't stop it.
Eddie Munster is not among them.
Someone's saying you've got a lovely mug. It is great. I deliberately gave Martin this to bam him up, and he didn't notice until we were right here. Classic. So basically in this is a selection of monsters from basically famous horror films. Your monsters. Monsters. Let's create something else.
There's a hair in there, sorry.
And in the Red Bowl,
one of the monsters.
In the Red Bowl is famous movie cops. Right, police officers from films, and the idea is Martin's got to pick 2 from the Red Bowl, right?
Okay.
And I'll pick 1 from the White Bowl, and the 2 that are in that have got to become buddy cops.
Okay.
Like a buddy cop thing, but they've got to face off against that horror monster, right? Okay, so
I picked 2. Okay.
So you can kind of read someone. So who have you got?
I have Clarence Starling.
Clarice.
Sorry, Clarence. Do you know? I watched Clarence. What's that from again? That's
RoboCop.
No.
It's a Wonderful Life.
I watched that quite recently.
Yeah, sorry, very different
Clarice
films.
Starling. Yes, but with similarly named characters.
Aye.
Yeah. And Somerset Morgan Freeman from Seven. Right.
Seven,
Okay.
right.
Yeah, okay,
so.
Yeah.
Clarice Starling paired up with Morgan Freeman's character from Seven, and who will they fight against? This will be the decider.
Are you going to pick? Okay.
Right. Picking the first one. Right. It's a good one already. Snakes from Snakes on a Plane. Right. Okay. So first off.
Well, obviously we've got Morgan Freeman, who was in Snakes on a Plane. Oh wait.
Let's not go down that.
No, there was that thing recently on TV where
he didn't think he thought Samuel Jackson was Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh no, I thought it was Morgan Freeman. See,
no. You're doing it. You might as well work for Fox News. Okay, so Clarice Starling.
Those are 3 different guys.
Skills, very intelligent. She's obviously good at psychoanalyzing people. She got the better of Lecter, or I would say he kind of got away in the end, but she got what she needed out of him. She managed to unravel him.
If you read the I don't know, I've not seen the sequel. Was it Hannibal, the sequel? But if you've read the book, which I have, she certainly gets something out of him at the end of that.
Yep.
Shall we say?
Oh, because she hooks up with Hannibal Lecter in the books, doesn't she?
She gets something out of him. Yeah.
That's all the difference. I think Alan's joined us in the chat.
Hey, Alan.
How you doing?
You should be here, Alan.
I know. Hey, if we could add a condo on and add Alan in, we would have him resident. Right, okay. And then we've got Morgan Freeman from Seven, right? Mm-hmm. So again, again, they're both quite similar. I think if they would be quite a good combination if they were to deal with, say, someone like Hannibal Lecter. But against the Snakes, they've got trouble.
I'd say, yeah. Yeah, it's snakes. I mean, what can you do? It's fucking snakes.
On a plane.
Are they on the plane? Are we going to say they're on the plane?
Or are they going to be on holiday?
Divorced from the plane?
They're going to a psychologist conference. They're hunting down... we're going to describe the film for you. They're going to a psychologist conference that they believe Dr. Hannibal Lecter will be at, right? Mm-hmm. So Clarice Starling is teamed up with Morgan Freeman, and they're heading together to go across. But unfortunately, while on the plane, the snakes have got out.
Is this Hannibal Lecter's plan?
Hannibal Lecter did the snakes, or did he?
He did the snakes.
Did the snakes? No, it wasn't. It was.
I've got the snakes.
That's it. So yeah, are they dealing with it?
It wasn't that big a deal in the film, was it? Really, I don't think the snakes posed that.
But
much
that was Samuel Jackson and a group of like eccentric characters. I think this is not the environment that they're set for. I think they would struggle with the snakes.
So.
Especially unarmed.
I think Clarice and Somerset are really, they're trained for psychological foes, and they're just
outsmarting their enemy.
Snakes.
And I think against
fucking snakes, man.
I think against an instinctual rather than intelligent animal, I don't think this is their matchup.
I think snakes have it.
I think the snakes
have
won.
So do we save the snakes? Are the snakes going into some battle at the end?
No, that's it. The snakes have won. The snakes have
won. The Empire of the Snakes.
Right, okay, so you picked two.
Marge Gunderson from Fargo.
Alright, okay, so lady. I tried to put in a few ladies just to keep the equality thing, and there's also a few people that I mean, I didn't all just put a load of white guys. So don't worry. Don't worry. No,
did you consciously?
No. Marge, right, we've got Marge.
Elliot Ness, what's he from?
Elliot Ness from Untouchables. Kevin Costner's character. Right, so he broke prohibition. He had to fight Al Capone.
Okay.
Right, so he's kind of a prohibition officer. Right.
I think Marge would get on.
So he's quite practical.
Marge is pretty practical, down to earth kind of woman.
Yeah, she is. I think
maybe don't pick this one.
Right.
Maybe don't pick
okay,
this one.
I'll pick. All right. Okay. We've already started fucking the game, but Stuart actually made a good point. If the flight was domestic within the US, Clarice would be armed. It's actually a physicians' conference in Peru, so they're not armed. They're not armed. I forgot. That's where the snakes came from. The Peruvian snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. The Tall Man.
Yeah.
The Tall Man.
From
Phantasm.
And his balls.
Right, okay. Against Marge Gunderson and Elliot Ness. So, Marge Gunderson, what we need to establish is this going to be pre or post Fargo? Because obviously in Fargo she's heavily pregnant. Mm-hmm. But she still managed to solve the case.
She didn't give birth in Fargo, did she?
Oh, I don't know if she's got the baby at the end.
Because I was going to say, if it was a Phantasm film, there'd be like a birthing scene. She'd be like, and they'd be like, I can see the head, and then one of those balls would fly out and fucking kill everyone.
Hurt in the face. I know that could be the ending. Wait, jot that down. Right, okay. So Elliot Ness, the Tall Man. Remind me, is he tangible?
Yeah, but you can kill him, but he walks back through, like you kill him, and then like a new one walks through the space gates. So quite a tough opponent, really.
Here's the scenario, right?
And he kind of uses dreams and stuff a little bit like Freddy Krueger, and you don't know, is he a dream or is he not? But he is tangible.
This is going to be a gift for Hollywood filmmakers, because Hollywood producers, we're giving you all these ideas. Here's the idea. Let me set you up, okay? The Tall Man is set up an illegal whiskey distillery in Canada, right?
Okay.
He set that up, okay, and No, he set it up in Elliot Ness's patch, right? In Chicago, right?
Okay.
And Elliot Ness has been on his case and he's gone away, right? And he's ran up to Canada and he's thought, who can I hook up with? And he's hooked up with Marge Gunderson, and they've formed a team.
She wasn't from Canada.
To bring it. Yes, she was.
Fargo was set in...
she was really near it. She's in Minnesota.
Was it Minnesota?
Right. I'm pretty sure it was.
I'm pretty sure her jurisdiction doesn't enter into Canada.
No, but it does though, because she's close. Right,
okay.
So she's come over, right? She's like, I know how to work in the snow. I've come across, right? We've got to think like Hollywood producers.
Yeah,
we're not confined
no logic. Fuck
by
logic.
these standard things,
yeah.
right? Okay, so basically what happens is they meet up to go together, and they've got to stop the Tall Man from making this special whiskey that's turning everyone into flying baubles,
like and midgets. Vertically challenged.
Yeah, all the dangerous stuff.
Killer guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no, I still think Tall Man wins. Tall Man's a multi-dimensional entity. Yeah, he just fucking kills them. They're too down to earth and practical. I don't think those characters would be able to handle they wouldn't be able to think in the abstract kind of terms needed to combat someone.
They're too obvious, is what you're saying. Right, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they're too literal minded, I reckon.
Alright, cool.
Maybe not, but you know.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm starting to worry about is the fact that every cop
is going to be very similar.
Right, let's put it together because there's some wild cards.
Hey, Jericho Kane from End of Days now.
Yeah.
See, he would stand a chance against, because I mean, he
fought the devil.
Satan himself.
Yeah, exactly. As Gabriel thing.
And Samuel Loomis from Halloween, who isn't actually a police officer, but
no. But the reason that Samuel Loomis is in it is because at the end of Halloween, one of my favourite bits, he's running around and he starts shouting at the police, and they do what he says. So he's
a doctor.
But he's above them.
Okay.
He's giving the police orders, so he's obviously some kind of secret superintendent.
Okay. Secret Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, Super Nintendo Charmlord.
So right. Okay, well, we've got Jericho Kane and Samuel Loomis. That's a pretty. I mean, because they're both from horror films as well, so they're actually relevant.
Right.
To this,
okay. So
to the potential.
It's a good combo.
It's a good combo. You're not picking the big one.
Who's fighting? Oh fuck! I can't stop myself. Pinhead and associated Cenobites. Versus Jericho Kane and who's the other guy?
Samuel Loomis.
Samuel Loomis. Oh, right now.
I think now.
Now, immediately we have to establish: is Michael Myers a man or is he supernatural? Based on the first two films that Samuel Loomis is in, right? So based on Halloween 1,
Samuel Loomis is in.
No, but I'm saying based on those two, right?
Because
imagine 2 rounds them off.
Right. Okay. It's ambiguous as to whether he's supernatural or not, but they're not fighting Michael Myers. They're fighting.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Is he a supernatural entity? Immediately, is that giving them the support that they need?
It's a difficult question because the whole point is it's ambiguous. They don't make it clear. You're supposed to, I think, maybe assume that he might be, but the whole idea is it's set in a very grounded, quite realistic kind of world. So they don't come out and say it, or they try and avoid it. And Loomis seems quite. For a doctor, he seems quite prone to believe that he is, because he's like, I've analysed him. I've tried to reach him.
I've seen things
pure evil.
You people wouldn't believe.
Wrong film, mate. Wrong film.
Yeah,
but yeah, he just sees pure evil. He just believes that Michael is like a supernatural force, whether he is or he isn't. He believes that he is. So who's our other cop again? Jericho Kane, Arnold.
Yeah, Big Arnie.
So you've got Donald Pleasence's brains, you get Arnold's brawn,
and he took on the devil. and we're looking. I mean, the Cenobites don't actually say they're from hell, don't they? I mean, like they say that hell's like too shallow a concept for them, isn't it? Like they're so far beyond.
The Cenobites are. They're not really. They're funny. In the first couple of films, the Cenobites aren't really villains per se. They're people that have kind of explored the realms of
they only come after you if you've opened the lament configuration.
They only... If they believe that you secretly want to join them, if they believe, then they will come after you. But if they don't... Because remember the little girl in the second Hellraiser film? Yeah. She opens it, but she's manipulated.
It's the same one that's in the first one.
Then they say, I think, no.
That's right. They get doctor gets his patient to do.
That's right. And then the Cenobites go for her, and then Pinhead stops him and he says, "It's not hands that call us, but minds."
Yeah.
So they're not just kind of indiscriminately attacking people.
The plot's coming to me, right?
They're not really necessarily bad. Anyway, they don't really exist in Loomis. They exist on a different plane of existence. And they want to bring pain to people and shit, right? But I think, because Loomis is like a psychologist, I think that would really stand in their favour in the whole sort of psychosexual aspect of it. I think he'd be able to figure them out. I think he'd be on
he might be able to, because remember, of course...
He could talk them down,
They got turned back into humans. Like, they were reverted back. I know that was kind of bullshit. They showed the picture, but anyway, right, here is the script that's come to my mind. Samuel Loomis opens the lament configuration in the hope that he's been misguided, and he's in the hope that it'll be able to trap Michael Myers within.
Oh, okay.
Right, so he's opening it up.
So he's
right?
lost the plot.
So he's opening it up, and as he's opening it up, Arnie comes in and goes, "No, don't do it! Come on! Don't open the box!" And he's running out the window, but there's a window,
and he's banging at the window, and
it's got really good double glazing. Right, you can't hear it. It's like, "No, don't do it! Get up! Get the box! Go! No!" And he's absolutely shouting, and he gets up, and Arnie just smashes through the window. He just jumps, smashes, and like, even though it's good double glazing, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? So he just goes straight. He goes like, and then by this point, the box will already be opened, and they come out, right? And Pinhead and everyone comes up, and Arnie just grabs Samuel, gets him over the window, jumps out the window, and Samuel Loomis is just like, "Oh, I can't believe what I've done." And
what have I summoned?
And he goes out there, right? And
he thinks Arnold's the fucking.
And it's kind of like twins after that, right? It's kind of the twins, and he's and like Arnie's basically like he's basically like, right, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We've got to go. Arnie's like, "You've got the brains, and I've got the brawn. Together, we can stop them. We can stop them." And then they basically get together, and they team up and they go after them, right? So they've got to do it. Now, is like in the second one, right? Is it Kirsty her name is? The girl?
I think so. You can tell us, guys.
I'm sure it's Kirsty, right? So she gets the picture and she shows of Pinhead when he was but a man. And he shows it to Mark's looking across at the comment. It's not, I've not just grown a massive phallus right in his direction. Basically, Pinhead gets shown a picture of him when he was a man, and he gets back in touch with the humanity of itself and turns back into a man.
Do you think like Loomis talks him down and talks him back into being a man again? He talks him out of being
Pinhead's really good at talking, and he can talk round most people, and it wouldn't be easily done. But
I think Arnie
like
fights chatter and all that kind of shit, and Loomis talks down Pinhead.
Yeah, so Arnie's holding them down.
I think they can do it.
At which point Samuel Loomis manages to convert them all back to humans, and Arnie's just like, "No!" And he comes through the window. He comes through this double glazing like this. He smashes right through, and they're just like, "Oh, it's alright, we're friends now." And he's just like, "Ah!"
Listen,
punches Pinhead right in the face, and his face just explodes. Right, he turns right, chatters to bang, gets the woman as well. He's not stopping because she's not a woman, she's a demon. He says, "Kiss her, right, bam, bam, bam,
right in the kisser,
right there," and it just her head explodes, and then they go and get coffee.
I think at some point in this film we need to see an Arnold Cenobite, a hugely muscled steroid popping vein ripping Cenobite.
Does he turn to the dark side at which point?
He turns back at the end.
And Samuel Loomis turns him round, at which point Samuel Loomis realises that he can do it.
Okay, Jericho Kane is like this tortured figure in the film, right? So
we assume he's post-devil.
They take him because they see in him a weak figure that they can take, and they take him and they torture him and they pump him so full of steroids as part of the torture because it's fucking mortal. But then at the end, Loomis is talking down Pinhead and he almost gets him round, but then Pinhead turns again and Loomis is almost fucked, and then suddenly but while Loomis is talking to Pinhead, right? He's giving him like his patter, right, and Pinhead rejects it, but Arnold's pure taking it in. He turns good again, but he's still got like the massive fucking muscles and shit, and then tears resting. That'd be awesome. That'd be amazing.
Guys, write this down. Yeah. It's almost like this video will be magically uploaded to YouTube servers for us to watch as many times as we want. Isn't it brilliant? Right, okay, should we do one more and carry on? By the time, yes, we have seen Commander's Shirt, classic, John Matrix, classic Arnie film. Right, we will do one more, and then if you guys in the chat say you want something else, type it in. If you want us to continue, say continue. Right, pick two, guys.
Frank Bullitt from Bullitt.
Oh fuck. Alan's unravelled as he says, does Arnie not die at the end of Days?
But then
maybe he's in the Cenobite realm and he comes back through.
Yeah, but then does Loomis not?
Like, you know how Arnie's always appearing? He like comes out of vortexes to defend people. Oh, sorry, that's Terminator 2.
No. But does Loomis not die in Halloween?
Halloween 2
he also dies in Halloween 3. No, he's not even in Halloween 3. He also dies in Halloween 5, I think.
Yeah.
quite anticlimactically. But anyway, right, Frank Bullitt.
Oh, classic Steve McQueen. Right, Frank Bullitt. Next one. Yeah, mix them up a bit. Get it around. Get that.
That's how you get a good quality one by
mixing it around. By all means. Oh, could there be a cooler combo?
Right, let's just
fucking get that
let's
scene.
Just show that.
Get this combo scene. Right. John Shaft and Frank Bullitt.
Why has this not happened?
God forbid anyone who comes up against this combo.
That how can that not have been made into a film? That's fucking brilliant.
Too good.
Right, who are they going to be fighting?
Good question.
You have the answer.
Oh! Oh, the Babadook! Oh. Which was a suggestion by Zoe, might I add. Okay, so Babadook kind of, if you read into it, the physical representation of a mother's disdain for her own child.
Her feelings of guilt and shame and...
Versus
John Shaft and Frank Bullitt,
who possibly don't have any regrets. So can Babadook live off their...
Now, I don't think they would have any way of dealing with the Babadook because they wouldn't have any concept of it. However, if Babadook is just a manifestation of that woman's fears and regrets and feelings of in what's the word? Not insignificance,
tolerance of the child?
No, she's not racist.
No, of her child.
Inadequacy, right?
Yeah.
Frank Bullitt and John Shaft, they'll just come in and pump her and
because
that's
the whole thing. She misses her.
She misses her husband, right?
They'd come in. I mean,
they'd show up. It would be a romance. It
dudes.
Wouldn't be an action film. It'd be a romance. It'd be like what do you call it? What's that?
It'd be called Baba Bang.
That's not the kind of romance I was talking about. But yeah, that would.
That's it.
That would
just come in and Babadook's just watching on as John Shaft and Bullitt are just spit roasting her. That one wrote itself.
I was thinking more like a Love Actually kind of thing where she flip flops back between the two of them. But then you could be talking about a different film where she flip flops back between the two of them. Right,
how long do you think they're going to be in Australia?
Fair
Not
enough.
long.
Right, that's resolved. Do we want more? Or
one more. Shaft in Africa or Shaft in Australia, that'd be. Watch Shaft in Africa, by the way. It's a great film. Watch the trailer, if nothing else.
Do you, honestly though, straight up, do you think, what do you think, without any jokes, what would happen? John Shaft and Frank Bullitt.
I don't think the Babadook would be able to live off them. They've not got that personality that would fuel the Babadook.
They necessarily, we're waiting for the Babadook to actually defeat them, or is it simply going to be a case of they can't do it to the Babadook and the Babadook can't do it to them, and therefore it's
because the Babadook feeds off of also her own fears about things, so perhaps she wouldn't have any fears if John Shaft and Bullitt were there to protect her.
Yeah.
Because you remember, of course,
it does sound terribly. It sounds really sexist to say, but I think a big part of her feels like loss and neglect is that she feels rejected by people. And if she had John Shaft and Frank Bullitt hanging about, bringing her flowers and stuff like that, then
fuck.
I don't mean that in a sort of sexist way. I think
100%.
she would. It's her loneliness as part of the kind of thing. Anyway.
Right, one more, and then we'll move on to something else.
Okay, Time Cop. Time Cop.
What a combo!
Right, that's just one. That's not a combo.
I know, but you know that whatever comes next, Time Cop's made it.
And who's Samuel Spade?
Who's Samuel Spade? You've never seen the Maltese Falcon?
I actually haven't seen the Maltese
Most
Falcon.
famous fucking spy ever. In Shaft in Africa, he actually requests to be called Sam. There's a line in Shaft in Africa, right, where he's asking to be named, and he goes, "Don't call me James Bond, just simply Sam Spade," right? Which is doubly funny because Sam Spade is something, and Spade is a
Callum.
Hey, okay, right. So anyway,
we're above that.
Sam Spade versus Time Cop versus.
I'm picking this one.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah.
Right, here we go.
The Preacher from Poltergeist 2 and 3.
Not familiar with him, I'm afraid. I've only seen the first Poltergeist.
The preacher, he's like a preacher, and he's a ghost, and he's like the main baddie in Poltergeist 2 and 3. He's like, he belonged to, they had a cult. It was like they kind of retconned the story a little bit, that part of the whole thing with the Poltergeist was that there was a cult that lived on the site, and their head was this preacher guy, and they were all a bit mental, and it's actually his evil spirit that's kind of, although there's a bit of the old sort of dead Indians and all that, it's kind of it's his evil kind of the
perpetuates
the poltergeist, really. So yeah, I don't know. Time Cop could go back in time and stop the guy. I don't know. It could go back in time to
That's
when.
a good question.
It could go back in time to when the preacher was a live human and a baby, and
because Sam Spade
take him and raise him somewhere else and give him a better upbringing, so he never grew up to be an evil cult leader.
Because Sam Spade could just keep him talking.
He could be
Sam Slade is a slick cat. He could just keep him coming.
Could
and then all of a sudden, boom.
I think Time Cop, go back.
Time Cop can pretty much
sort out his childhood. The preacher would grow up to be a city planner or something like that, and it'd be fine.
On the way back up, take out Hitler, and everyone stops for tea.
Right.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Splendid.
What do you want to do now, Cal?
I've finished a beer, but in the interest,
there's beers down there if you want one.
Did you bring one of mine?
Well, I brought one of mine, but you can have it.
Well, it's fine. I'll go and get one. In the interest of doing
Are you
going
to make me sit and...
No. I'm going to give you material.
Okay.
Whoa, careful. There we go. Okay, so let me just check that this is all fine. That's fine. I'm going to give you this magic folder of the cards.
See, I like Ghost remembers the preacher. I can't believe you don't remember the... Have you never seen Poltergeist?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Our faces will temporarily disappear, but don't worry, we haven't gone. So basically, I got this book. I'll actually very quickly show it on the webcam. Ladder's back in. There we go. I got this book at Christmas called Film in 5 Seconds, and essentially the setup is this is not a difficult one, but they give you clues, right? Do you know what this one is, Martin?
I can't actually see it. I can only, right, so spectacles, man, graves, and a black thing, lightning. Oh, is it Superman? I don't know. I can't actually make out what that is.
That's a broom.
Okay.
There.
Uh-huh.
And it's a guy with glasses with a lightning bolt.
Right.
You're maybe not the demographic for this.
No.
That's Harry Potter.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay, let me find another one. Right, that one, for example.
It looks like Titanic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, so I got
that's quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's brilliant. It's great. Like for example,
give it a scary one. Come on.
Look, this is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay. Like little film schematics.
Yeah, so you've got like the sword versus the gun and stuff.
All right.
Anyway, right. So
I've marked the scary ones.
Yeah, I've marked out all the horror ones. Right. I'll very quickly do that. Right, and basically what you can do is if you press. Let's give us an example, right? Have I pressed...
The Howling!
Right, okay, right.
It's the Howling!
Right, I'm going to go and quickly grab a beer and you can run people through these and I think you'll be able to...
What do I say? Okay, guys.
I think you'll be able to get...
Do I have to work out what they are?
Yeah, you work out what they are.
Okay, I think you guys know what this one is.
Anything?
So what am I flipping to the next one? Is it just the arrows?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay. So what else we got? That's obviously Ghostbusters, because you can see it. No ghosts at the top there. Right, what's this? Okay, Overlook Hotel, typewriter, axe, snow. It's The Shining. Okay, guys. Alright, can any of you bastards work out what the fuck that is supposed to be? Alright, woman, devil, baby. Oh, it's The Exorcist. Okay, she's... Okay, yeah, throwing up. Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's actually really cool. But I'm struggling with things to say here, Callum. There's really not much to say. Did
you get that? That one's good though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite good. I like the little phallic alien hanging out his stomach. What's that? Oh, that's from that. That's the Android.
Here you go.
Sorry, I'll let you back in.
Oh, there we go. No problem. Okay, so this one. I mean, the problem is the horror ones are really simple.
No, I don't get that one.
Okay, go through it.
Man, ghost, sheep, fly.
No, it's not ghost.
What is it?
It's a mask, isn't it?
Oh, I thought that was I thought that was a little ghost with his arms up and he's got like clenched teeth.
Sees Little Eyes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's nice, there's a liver, some nice...
It's nice fava beans. I don't know, what could it be?
This one.
Dracula.
Yep, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
As opposed to all those other Draculas.
This one. That one's good.
Money, house, shower. Psycho.
Yes.
Steals money, goes to motel. Yep. Okay.
It's really good though, isn't it?
Yeah. He is his mother. Deliverance. There's no one getting bummed.
Yeah, I know.
There's the pig though. That's a subtle enough. I don't actually know.
Okay, well, we'll go through it. Right, starts off with monkeys, biohazard. They're driving around in a cab for a bit. Then they end up going to a place with a bunch of soldiers.
And then flying away in a plane. I don't know.
It's 28 days later.
Okay.
Red eyes, and then...
Yeah.
And we're back.
That wasn't very good.
But sorry about that, Mark.
No, just that last one.
No book for Mark. Some of them are really, really cryptic. I will certainly say that much.
Yeah.
But I feel we should have like a little message, like the beer of the stream, and the beer of the stream tonight is Black Isle Organic Blonde.
It's always good to support your local...
Yeah, definitely.
Where is Black Isle from?
Good question.
Is that Aaron?
Brewed in the Scottish Highlands.
Maybe the Black Ale, actually.
The Black, yeah, definitely. A pale straw-coloured beer with notes of elderflower, biscuits, and freshly mown grass.
I prepared a few talking points for the live stream.
By all means.
So just...
oh, shit. I think we're fine now.
This is a family live stream, Callum.
Twat.
Right, okay, so I think we'll go with...
I should probably say to those people though, anyone that, before we start, anyone that wants to get that book, because there's a ton of shit. I mean, that's this one, for example.
Oh, yeah.
E.T.
That's cool.
It's cool. The book is called Film in 5 Seconds, and it's actually, bro, some of them are really, really, really cryptic, but I mean, oh dude, you'll love this one, right? One more before, I know they're not horror related, but this one's fucking
Last
great.
one. Just hold it still. Right. No.
The Warriors.
Yeah.
Coney Island,
okay. Back to Coney.
It's
right.
good though, right?
Right, Callum.
Yeah, that book. Anyway, have you seen
and
it?
guys.
Okay.
Talking point of the 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yep.
Whatever. What was your biggest childhood fear?
This is open to you guys as well. What was your biggest childhood fear? Tell us about it.
That's a good question. I mean, I think, my biggest problem, I guess, as a child, like, I've got, like, ADHD. I'm not just one of these people that have actually, like, just say they've got it at school to get out of stuff. Like, I've actually got it.
I can't believe that.
But, yeah, I know. I mean, it's much more restrained
just such a
as an
quiet
adult.
and laid back guy.
Like, she's a kid, you would have just kicked me in the face. I was all over the place. But, anyway, what do you call it? I had a really overactive imagination.
Yeah.
So, like, anything I saw, like, and, like, kids could watch, like, kids could, I remember one time, right, we were playing Silent Hill, right, on the PlayStation 1, right, and my friend was too scared to watch, to play at the time, and he was being a dickhead, because he'd got the game, right, but he had a sheet over his head, and he had the controller, and I was telling him what it was and directing him, because I wasn't scared to play it, right, but basically, what did freak me out is, like, staying up. Like, I would literally not sleep, and I would stay up all night just thinking about it. If I watched any horror movies or anything, not thinking about, it's going to come and get me, literally thinking about every single part of it. And I ultimately wonder if that's kind of part of the reason I end up getting involved in film and doing it.
Yeah.
This kind of over-analytical...
Do you think that's to do with your ADHD? Do you think all kids are like that?
No, I think that it's exaggerated. I mean, the overactive imagination comes part of the hyperactivity disorder. Someone made a very good point of dolls Dolls is a pretty common one, actually. People do. I mean, especially when you go to those houses, it tends to be less common now because it tends to be old people that have it. But when you go to like those old women's houses and they've got all those porcelain dolls and they love them, but they have like a room full of them. It's like their guest bedroom. And if you ever have to stay in it, you're sitting there the whole time going, "Can I smash the face of every one of them and make it an accident?"
In fact, no. This ties into one of the discussions later. So hold dolls in mind. Although dolls are interesting because it's the whole uncanny valley thing. You know, things that people tend to to take well, things that are very cartoonish, that are not like humans, like, you know, like Mickey Mouse. He doesn't look like he's kind of a little bit like a human, but he's not really. Doesn't look like a human. And they take well to things that look very like humans, other human beings, and that kind of thing. But anything that falls in between, anything that is quite like a human but not quite like a human, just slightly off. You know, like, you know those dolls with the ceramic faces that are like, you know, they've got, you know, those ones with the soft bodies and the ceramic faces. Yeah. They're really, really creepy because they're just so close to being alive, but not quite. They're close enough that you can imagine them coming to life.
Yeah.
But not close enough that you can imagine them being friendly if they did come to life. You know?
I think it's because we do personify things. I mean, it's like the thing we always say, like, because of our survivalist instinct, there's that whole thing of, you know, if we see something in the dark, we immediately try and see a face in it.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, what's happening?
The history behind...
Oh shit.
What's up?
The bandwidth's coming up as... Are you guys still seeing us alright?
In any case, the history behind dolls didn't help my idea, but what history? What are you...
I think
can they hear us?
The internet connection's starting to...
Okay. Can you still hear us, guys? Small red dot, lights in a dark room terrified me.
Yeah,
I think 2001 really. Yeah. But I like Ghost. What do you mean by the history? That's interesting. I don't know.
Someone made a point about there's a one called Two New Friends by Michael Whitehouse. Do you know that author, Michael Whitehouse? He's done a couple of creepypasta stories. He's a real egotistical guy.
That guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, he did one about the doll. Is
that the one? There's a tooth or something inside it?
Yes, the little girl. The guy comes across a doll. Anyway, go and watch it. I believe Michael did a narration of it on this channel. I'm mildly concerned about the fact this is coming up with orange, and for some reason the Wi-Fi has stopped working.
We're still getting they date back pretty far. Some were made specifically for harbouring souls for dead kings. Yeah, that's pretty fucking creepy. My fear as a kid, and it's silly now really, but was aliens. I was fucking terrified.
Just the idea that aliens coming in.
Yeah, I always had this thing like, I don't know if you guys have ever been, like, when I moved house, I lived in a place called Dunoon at the time. Moved house, basically moved into a new bedroom. The place was empty, it was just full of boxes. It's kind of creepy way when you're in a new building, you don't really recognise it, and there was no curtains in the windows, and it was out in... It wasn't right out in the middle of nowhere. It was maybe like an hour from Glasgow, and you had to get a ferry across and all that. But it was far away enough that there was no light pollution, and the stars, you could see the Milky Way stretching across the sky. And I remember just lying in bed at night, looking out the window, just seeing stars, and just thinking, what is out there, you know? And it was always that fear. Do you guys ever have that thing where you're lying in bed under the covers, eyes closed, and you just suddenly become convinced that something is standing at the bottom of your bed? You know, and then you open your eyes and you can't see anything, and you just think something's standing there. I would always had that thing, but there was one thing. I used to always read about aliens and you know, stories about Roswell and all that kind of stuff. And one, I had this book about monsters, and it had like, you know, the Mothman and the Loch Ness Monster, all that kind of stuff in it. But there was one. Is there a problem?
It's coming up as saying for the stream's going back to green, but the actual live view's coming up as this video is unavailable.
Okay, the guys, can we check for the guys?
Okay, what the fuck is going on here?
Can you hard refresh? I know that's
yeah, but
I know that's Linux, but
I'm not going back to that. I do not know what's going on with the connection. A couple of guys were saying they could still hear us, but
hopefully we're still on.
Continue. Yeah. Hopefully
okay. Yeah. So
to talk.
So I had this book about aliens, and there was one story about, you know, a supposed, I don't really believe it, but a supposed alien encounter in a place called Flatwoods in West Virginia. And this creature,
right, okay, yeah,
known as the Flatwoods Monster. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so it was the 1950s, and there was a. What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm trying to get the live stream back.
So it was the 1950s, and this place, Backwater, this Flatwoods, West Virginia, this bright object streaked across the sky supposedly, and some kids, thinking it was a meteorite, ran to get a National Guardsman because at that time.
That's where it stopped. Is that no longer?
That's it.
Yep. Let's just fucking restart quick. Can you post in the? Are you logged in as Ghastly Tales on that?
No, I didn't. I logged in as myself.
Oh wait, that's going back up. I think. Are we back up?
Are we on?
This is.
Let's
signal.
see.
Fuck. Oh, don't you just love the fucking internet? Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm terrible.
Are we back?
It's seen that we're fucking hell.
We're not getting anything here, but hold on. Let me get rid of that.
It'll take a second or two to come back up.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you just
We're
love...
down to one watching.
Don't you just love...
We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back.
Hey! Oh, don't you just love
woo!
technical difficulties? Okay.
So, do we have the screen up?
Yeah, I will bring up the details again. Sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. We had a minor spaz out on the old internet.
Hopefully that's the last one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what I was saying was, apparently a bright object streaked across the sky, and a bunch of kids who were out playing saw this light come across the sky, and
We're
apparently...
going back to fucking orange.
Oh, fuck. Right. I want to reboot and just...
Yeah.
What are we actually streaming off?
Wait. Hang on. Let's go back to it. I don't know what's going on.
I think if it's going to come on and off, then we need to...
You fucking pay stupid money for fibre broadband and then you get this shit. What's all this nonsense about? Oh, God. Guys, if you're still around, would fucking 100% apologise.
Stick around, guys. We'll have this sorted soon.
Jesus Christ.
That may be a promise I cannot deliver on.
Hopefully. Fuck, where is the link to the actual...
Can you just stop it just now? Stop it coming on and off.
It's back. It says it's back up. This
We're back
is
on?
very annoying thing. Oh, right, okay, apparently we're back. Oh.
We're back. Right, just post
okay.
and say we're having problems.
Yeah, okay, carry on. Continue to tell about it.
Are we actually back though? Is that green?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, red. Guys, don't know what the fuck happened.
Hopefully we're back permanently.
Sorry.
We reappeared for a short time and then disappeared again.
So we're back and we apologise and we're going to make it up to you. We're going to make it up to you. Really, Sky Broadband should be apologising to me because you pay the money for a fucking 50 megabit connection and you don't get it.
Put in for compensation, guys. Sky can afford it. It's Rupert fucking Murdoch, man.
Send that straight to them. Fucking Sky you right out of the park. Right, back to your
okay. So where was I? I was talking about the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're back to pretty much where we were, guys. Thanks for sticking around. You're all diamond geezers.
Okay, so it was Flatwoods, West Virginia, 1952 or 54, I believe. And a bright object streaks across the sky. This place is in the middle of nowhere, okay, right out in the woods, miles from any other town. The bright object streaked across the sky, and these kids, thinking it was a meteorite, gathered a National Guardsman. I don't know why you get a National Guardsman.
Gal just
if you think, catch those meteorites, and some members of local residents, residents, and went up into the woods to try and find this thing that apparently came down. And as they got up there, this kind of mechanical animal sort of smell, burning metal kind of smell overcame them, and they started feeling sick. And then they saw what they thought was an owl. I think they thought it was an owl up in the tree, and then they turned a flashlight on it to discover that supposedly there was this 15-foot tall alien in like a black cloak with a big round head and blazing
as a Wu-Tang Clan would say, nothing to fuck with.
But, staring down at them, and apparently it chased them and attacked them, and they were all like sick for weeks after and all that kind of stuff. Now
Jesus.
It seems pretty kind of bullshit, but let me just get a picture of this bad boy. Now, as a kid, the story's pretty scary. I mean, it's nothing that unusual in terms of like all these alien and UFO stories, but it was the picture of the thing, and there's just something about it that really freaked me out. I had this book of monsters, like it had Mothman, it had the Yeti, the Loch Ness Monster, all that kind of stuff in it, and it had a picture of this supposed Flatwoods monster, and I actually taped the pages together when I was a little boy because I was scared that I would accidentally come across that page when I was reading before bed and terrified me. None of those other monsters. This, I mean, now it seems kind of silly, but if you woke up and that thing was standing at the bottom of your bed, I mean, that is fucking terrifying.
Wu-Tang Clan made nothing to fuck with.
Look at it. What is that around its head?
Nothing. I don't know.
It's like spilled its dinner down its front, but it's still really scary. But
looks like the Queen of Spades.
Yeah. But anyway, that had this terrible fear that one day I was going to wake up and that thing was going to be standing at the bottom of my bed, or worse, face pressed against the window. That was my
I'm your dad.
Yeah, that was it. Was a funny thing in the 90s. You know, like in the 80s and the 90s, there was all these stories about alien abductions and stuff. But if you go back to like the 50s, all the claimed alien sightings and stuff were these kind of more frightening, sort of finding a monster in the woods, or there was another case where apparently like a house was attacked by supposedly attacked by little creatures, and they shot them and they got up and ran away and all that.
Yes, I've come across that one actually. That was the people that said, and they were on the roof and everything. They were like,
yes, that's right. They shot them. They heard
and they flew away. Right, okay. Just to go back, just so that everyone feels their comments are appreciated, I'm going to go into some of the things. First off, Andy was saying that he was scared of the mummies from Doctor Who, Pyramids of Mars.
Yeah.
Freaked them out.
Was that the kind of water mummies or something? There was it not something to do with water?
Maybe Andrew could bring it in, but I actually think that perhaps we are of a generation, and those before us, that as kids we had a more overactive imagination anyway. And stuff like that actually affected us. We thought about it, whereas kids these days, unless they're playing a game or they've got physical control, they don't give a fuck. I don't
know. I'm not sure if I know really what kids these days think. I'm so out of touch. I'm not down with the kids
you trying
anymore.
To say, I've never been in contact with a child. Can we just put it out there?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine kids are probably more or less the same now as they were when we were young. What do you think?
I don't know. I think we're different. I mean, having met kids, I haven't spoke to kids recently about stuff that we've done. I mean, there's a few things I've done. I'm doing like some work with Glasgow City Council at the moment, doing some adverts, and we did some stuff with schools. And we went in, and basically the IT suite for the kids. They brought in 2 Pelican cases, big flight cases, full of iPads, and they were given 30 iPads.
Yeah.
And I had my phone out, and I kind of showed them it, and I was careful what I showed them. But I showed them a BBC Micro, and I was like, "This is what we had at school, right?" And we were just at the end of it, but this is what we had, and they were just like, "Christ, how old are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm only 24." And you fucking just started pummeling them. The teacher was just like, "Stop hitting him. He's already dead."
I think the technology kids have now, the iPads, computers, and stuff. It just gives them more access to more stuff that's going to shit them up. So I think probably they're the same.
Maybe good.
When you get, except it's like stuff like 2 Girls, 1 Cup instead of the Flatwoods monster.
I don't know if that's so going right. Remember Meat Spin? I remember every computer in our IT lab, we put Meat Spin on it, and it crashed. And a few people, all the computers just like crashed. And there was one computer we put it on, we turned the monitor off and minimised it, and came back, and it was like 20,000 spins, and it was the best thing ever. Don't go on Meet the Spin, guys, if you not be on it. It's for those people that come across it and they go around telling people, guys, don't go on it. You only need one friend to suffer it, and they'll save you. I like Ghost has said, my cousin used to live out in the country and said that she would always see things shooting across the sky. She also saw bright lights in the trees.
No, just lights.
I wasn't... Well...
You're exaggerating what she said.
Lights in the streets. I wasn't bothered by aliens until she told me that story. That's a good point. I suppose aliens are always those things, because we've always got this kind of fear that, I mean, if you think about it, on this planet, we're the dominant force and we kind of impose it. Yeah. But the idea that something could come and take over, I mean, invasions of the body snatchers used to shit me up, because if you think about it, like, it was always that thing where it was like all of a sudden everyone else was out to get you, and there was just a couple of you left, and they're all emotionless. That was always good.
The idea. There is something about, and I think that kind of hits it. There's something about being outside at night and looking up at the stars and in the dark and being surrounded by trees that is just, it's cool. but it's also really quite scary. There's something about that whole environment. The environment, the forest and the dark trees is scary in itself, and the idea of the depth above you when you look up in a night sky, that just the vastness of it is terrifying. It's like the sense
you
of you're swimming in the sea.
You realise how small you are when you think that every star is a sun and every sun's got its own. You know, it
makes you feel like a prey animal again. You think of the vastness of that. We're used to being pretty big. We're the big man. You know, we swagger about with guns, but when you look up at the night sky, you realise how small.
Unless you follow some kind of religious thing that says that you're the pinnacle example of. You know, you're a perfect creation and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, let's not get into religion.
Yeah, let's not get into
Guy says, my brother told me about the Doomsday Book when I was really young. Said it was kept in our local church and that the end of the world was coming and all these ghosts would get me. That sounds like classic brother chat there.
There is a Doomsday Book, but was it not like a census or something like that from the 1500s? I think.
Okay, here we go. Yep. Alec Goss also said, I did have one other thing that freaked me out. I was always afraid of a living severed head that would fall down my chimney.
That's a really specific...
It was out of a book that I loved as a kid.
I was going to say that's a really specific fear. These were robot mummies they gave to... Oh, you're going back... Right. I was thinking the Waters of Mars. The Waters of Mars, yeah.
Tom Baker. And I guess they weren't susceptible to jelly babies. I'm going to... As old Tom Baker characters, but nice, isn't it? Right. Good. Oh, you know what? It's good. It's always good to have you guys in the chat because it's good. That's the whole reason we do these live streams is to get a bit of interaction with it, because obviously we get the comments on the videos. It's good, but it's good to speak to you guys and get stuff coming on as well.
I remember my mum saying that when she was little, her dad used to tell her that if she was bad, Guy Fawkes would come down the chimney and take her away.
With Tories?
Like, no, it was just really weird. Like, they actually, I guess it was like just a sort of a boogeyman figure of past times that survived it quite recently. I mean, I guess once upon a time, Guy Fawkes would probably been, I mean, we still burn effigies of Guy Fawkes. She was told that Guy Fawkes would come down the chimney, and he had this whole story. I don't know where he got it from, that like a little girl and boy that were bad, and then one day they saw a pair of old, like sort of Puritan style buckled shoes standing in the fireplace, and then a shoe, and then a glove, and then a hat, and suddenly Guy Fawkes was standing in the living room. That's pretty scary. Yeah, she was always scared of stuff coming down.
Gunpowdered the fuck out of them.
I don't think he was going to gunpowder them. I don't know what he was going to do.
Right. So your next point that you had on.
Have you? Okay. Well, let's see what else we got. If you want to just talk among yourselves.
How you doing, Callum? Yeah, I'm good, Callum. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm fine.
Have you ever committed an act of pure evil? And if so, what? Callum.
Pure evil as opposed to just evil. Have you committed an evil? Pure evil.
An act you didn't have any justification. You just did it because it was bad.
Shot a cow with an air rifle. That's pure.
You probably shouldn't admit that in front of people. Oh, so what happened? Tell me the story.
Well, it was kind of a thing. I remember when we were kids, somebody had an air rifle, and it was a proper good one. There was a train track near my parents' house, still there.
A train track.
Train track. And we used to
railroad
they had
track.
the high speed trains on the way to London. Okay. We used to go past my mum and dad's house, so you used to sit there, and if you fired one of the slugs out the air rifle, it would hit it, and because the train was going at sort of speed, it would be like it would be like a proper amazing ricochet. We probably cracked a few windows with some unfortunate shots, but well, fuck, that's not that is not updating very quickly. Anyway, and I remember one time we were at a field at the back, and then one of the guys was just like, we'll try it on these cows, and someone shot a cow in the arse.
But the cows have pretty thick skin though.
I mean, they do, yeah. Right, but I mean, it's like a tiny metal shuttlecock that you load into a rifle. Yeah. They were, I mean, it wasn't a particularly fantastic air rifle. It did have a scope. But, it was a standard pump one, put the throttle gun, fired it, and we shot a couple into it, and they did react. You could see them kind of jump up and move off, and there was something that we kind of did at the time, and then ultimately you were just like, yeah, that's going to shit. And the first time I remember feeling shit about it was that someone said to me, I said it to someone, we're like, oh, we shot these cows, and he was like, man, that fucking sucks, that's such a shit thing to do. And then I started thinking about it, I was like, yeah, that is a fucking shit thing to do, actually. Do you want me to just get you a bottle opener?
Nah, that's alright, I'll figure something
Marn
out.
just doesn't want to be alone. Ooh, that sounds like you're getting some kind of progress here.
I found a pair of, what are they, wire strippers?
Yeah, they are wire strippers, yeah.
Yeah, that'll do. I'll just, better than use my teeth.
In my mind, all of a sudden I'm seeing these kind of strippers made out of electrical wire. What's going on?
Yeah, so,
yeah, that's
going back to dolls.
That's probably the darkest thing.
And by the way, guys, if any of you have ever committed an act of pure evil, please do share in the comments. Although keep any admissions of like murder or
illegal
like
ones,
to
don't
yourself,
put that shit up because
we don't
crash in for the reward.
That's some kind of publicity we don't need on Ghastly Tales. My kind of pure evil. It goes back to, remember we were talking about dolls earlier on, and those little China face dolls. My little sister used to have some of them. My little brother, much like me, but even more so when he was young, was terrified of the supernatural. He always thought I don't know if he was terrified of the supernatural, but he was always, when 4 or 5 years old, he was scared to go into rooms on his own. He was a little wimp. But anyway, he used to have this thing about going into my wee sister's room. I think because she had these little porcelain face dolls, and she had them on a shelf near the door. And this was around the time that phones, like mobile phones, were starting to get pretty good. They stopped being bricks that went, and everyone was starting to get them.
Do you remember? Do you remember when this has become like a retro podcast instead?
No.
Remember when you had phones feature? Oh mate, what's the audio visual equipment? Right, you had phones, feature phones, and then smartphones.
You still get phones, feature phones, and smartphones.
Yeah, I know, but like the difference don't matter. Now you really get it. Have you guys heard of Doll Island? I'm pretty sure I have.
You've just overtaken this story.
No, sorry. Doll Island. I definitely have heard of that. Is that the one that's got all the abandoned dolls?
It's like haunted.
It's like abandoned dolls, though, isn't it?
I would love to do a Ghastly Tales live stream from there.
Guys, we're fucking on it.
If you guys can do a fundraiser, right? And where is it? Is it in Thailand or where is it?
I'll fucking go. Square go.
We should do a fundraiser, right? And we get everyone to donate. Like everyone on the Facebook page will get 2,500 Facebook.
If all of them donate, like
if you all donate £1, right? We can go to Doll Island and we will do a live stream there overnight, right? We'll do an 8-hour live. That's fantastic. Yeah. That's your fault when we die. I like ghosts.
See, St. Peter's Seminary in Cardross, there's a burnt down seminary, and it's now being restructured. But that would be an amazing place to do a live stream from.
It would be. We should do something like, although it would be slightly illegal.
They're now like heavily working on it. Unfortunately, but it's fantastic. Anyway, sorry, back to your story.
Okay, so she had these porcelain dolls. My little brother was scared to go into the room because I believe he was scared of the porcelain dolls. I had just got a phone that could record voice or could play MP3s and that kind of thing. This was about 2000 or so. And you could save your own ringtone. So I basically convinced my little brother to be a man, to be, you need to be brave. Look, your fears are, I don't know why you're afraid. I'm not afraid. Look, I walk into the room there, walked in and out, nothing's wrong. You go for it, mate. Honestly, and I built him up like this was a big brother talking. It's fine, pal. I'll look after you. Don't you worry. Everything's fine. We'll overcome your fears, mate. And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. He was about 5 years old. Yeah, okay. And I was maybe 15. How old? Right. Okay, I'm a bit. No, I must have been about 17. He's a lot younger than me. He's about 12 years younger than me. Anyway, he went into the room, and I had hidden my phone behind one of these dolls and recorded as a ringtone my voice saying, Alex, I'm gonna get you. Right, and I had it on vibrate as well, so I hid this behind there, and I got my wee sister. No, I ran down. Sent him into the room. I ran downstairs and dialed my own phone while he was standing in the room, and the doll began to shake and call his name. And I have never seen him run so fast. But that was, I feel seriously guilty with that. In all seriousness, it really wasn't very nice. I probably set him back a few years as well in terms of his fear. But he's okay now. He's okay now, honestly.
Jesus.
But it was it was pretty. Yeah, the other pure evil. If we're while we're on the subject.
Jesus, wait, where are you going? You might as well keep messing them.
I'm a pretty nice guy. I've not done many evil things. Anyway, the other. Wait. Oh, okay. The other evil thing that I did was when I was about 5 years old. I'd heard that cats always landed on their feet. I heard that proverb, a cat always lands on its feet. And I had a cat called Bonnie. I loved her very much. She was actually, I had her until I was 19 years old. She was a year older than me. She was 20 years old when she eventually died. But she was obviously much younger at this point. We were living at my grand's house at the time, and she had like this kind of staircase that went up around the hall, had a kind of high banister on it. So you were up kind of maybe 20 feet by the time you reached. There was a kind of window at the top, the stairhead window that you could look out. So I was playing around, 4 or 5 years old, and the cat was there and coming up and I was stroking it and all that. And then I thought, I heard a cat always lands on its feet. I'm looking over the edge of the banister, see the phone table with the phone sitting on it, about 20 feet away. Well, I won't hurt her. I just want to see the cat landing at its feet. So I'm like, it's okay, Bonnie, it's okay. Drop. Cat hits the phone table, screams, meows. I didn't do, to be fair, act pure evil, not really, because I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I thought, a cat always lands at its feet, it'll be fine, it'll enjoy it. I just thought I was a wee boy, a wee tiny wee boy. Cat hits the phone table, screams, meows. My mum and my gran come running out thinking I've fallen and died. Cat hits the phone table, phone goes flying across the room, the table falls over, cat shoots across. It was just, that was pretty cruel. But I'm convinced that step was cursed, and I was actually influenced to do that by some evil power, because one time at the same house, in the same place, I found, once again, Alex is the victim, my little brother Alex, my wee sister Lindsay, gobbing on his head when he was a baby on that same step, just out of badness. I'm pretty sure it was haunted, or we were just fucking terrible children.
Pretty awesome. I've actually got a good story, but I need to get another beer, so I'll be temporarily back.
Alright, so I'm just gonna...
So you don't have a thing, you could read from Filmmaker magazine though.
That's fine. So, have you guys ever done anything that you consider to be pure evil? Anything that doesn't have any justification, anything that was just done for the badness? And in the meantime, while I'm sitting here on my own with no one to riff off, on the subject of ghosts in the subject of UFOs and lights in the sky and stuff, I'm going to read you a story I found on Reddit that I thought was pretty creepy. I was going to do this as one of the discussion points with Callum, sort of discuss the scariest story you've ever, the story that you found online that creeped you out the most. And this is quite a subtle one, but it always kind of weirded me out. I read it a while ago. Just saying, Callum, I'm going on to the story that freaked me out online. Sit down. You're freaking me out. So it's not a terribly scary one. It's just kind of
I didn't get to tell my story. A
little bit eerie in the start. You can about what act of pure evil you did. No, you did.
No. There was a story that I had at the end of it. Right. Like could potentially be.
Continue, right. And we'll come back to that then.
My parents' house, and we've talked about this before. My parents' house.
We still on, by the way, yeah.
It's super old. It's a good few hundred years old anyway. So basically, it's been a few different things. There's a railway line next to it, so it was a station master's house, it was a hotel, it was a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, my dad is he's an architect, and he's under the belief that there's actually a cellar to the house. But there's the only way he believes to get into it is under the stairs.
Right.
But the stairs is all bricked off now.
Oh.
But there was one time when he was wallpapering it, where he looked at it and said, "This isn't the original wall for this thing." Because basically, you come in the front door, and there's stairs straight upstairs, and then there's a new wall that's been added in, and essentially, he says it's not the same brick.
Right.
So he's of the belief that the cellar has been bricked over, and there was a point of him that was always going, Feakson's joined us. Hey Feakson, how you getting on? He is of the belief that there's
Something
there is a cellar
there.
downstairs, and it's been bricked over. But the thing is, he's never been given permission by my mum to just knock fuck out the wall with a pickaxe, because potentially there might not be anything underneath.
There might just be more bricks. Yeah, but it'd be cool. Did you know that once upon a time on the subject, keep coming back to animal cruelty. I love animals. I'm really not a nasty person to animals, but apparently in the olden days, they used to wall up cats and dogs inside the walls of new houses. And they built a new house, they'd leave like a crawl space in the wall or in the basement underneath, and they would put cats and dogs inside and wall them in alive, in the belief that their cries over maybe a period of several days would scare off evil spirits. So quite often when renovating or demolishing or extending old houses maybe built in the 14th, 15th, 16th centuries, they will find cat and dog skeletons or mummified cats and dogs walled up inside the walls.
Motherfuckers. Alan actually said that he what do you call it? That he's never done anything.
Yeah,
really.
you should knock it down. I think so.
Don't feel bad, mate. Don't feel bad, Alan, that you feel that you've not done anything wrong. That's a good thing. Also, Swedehead, I'm 100% behind knocking that wall down. I've even said to her, what if it's a wine cellar? What if there's loads of really nice fucking wine downstairs? But no.
Can I just say, I don't think I've ever done anything really evil. I mean, the cat thing was pretty bad. The cat thing was
backtracking now.
The cat thing.
That time where I put a plunger up a cat's arms.
No.
That wasn't that
That
bad.
was bad, but I was 4 or 5 years old, and I wasn't doing it to hurt the cat. I was doing it because I'd heard a cat always lands on its feet, and I wanted to see that happen. The cat, in fairness, did land on its feet.
So what you're saying is that it wasn't cruelty. The cat was a casualty of science.
Well, I did kill a man once just to watch him die. Yes, the cat. Sorry, that was.
No, that's fine.
The cat was a casualty of science. Basically, it was a cat. It was a casualty of
Newton, bitch.
It was a casualty of youthful inquisitiveness. But it wasn't a casualty, it was fine.
Mate,
that's the point.
Play it off however.
If anything was evil, my wee sister's spitting on my wee brother's head, that was evil.
Which one was that?
The story I said at the end, the same step
what
as
sister?
The calf. Lindsay. You met her.
Is that the older one or the younger
one?
Right, and then the older one's called Jenny.
That's right.
Hey, who says I don't remember things?
But, yeah, I think that was worse. But then I would, because it wasn't me that did it. But scaring him was pretty bad enough. Anyway. What were we talking about?
Right, you were on to your next topic. You were looking something up in your phone.
We were talking about read a story that scared you that you read in there. Not scared you, but read one that affected you or you found creepy.
I need to bring this one up.
And it's not to be a creepy... Well, it's not to be like a no-sleep story or like a short story. It could be a creepypasta as long as it had its origins in something someone claimed was actually real. Like, and if someone's then taken that and pasted it all over the internet, fair enough. But it has to be something that originally was presented as real and could conceivably be real.
Right, I'm trying to bring this up.
Or it could just be outright real.
Basically, I'm trying to find the details of it again. There was 2 twins, and I believe it was in England. 2 twins, yeah, as opposed to fucking 4 twins. Yeah, okay, hang on. Basically, it was 2 girls that were mute for the. Yeah, there we go.
June and Jennifer Gibbons.
Yeah, I think this is them. Yes, here we go. Okay, so June and Jennifer Gibbons. Let's see if we can go full bifter and go full technology here. Right, okay, so here's the Wikipedia entry here. I remember reading this. This was 2 girls that essentially what ended up happening to them is that they grew up, there you go, in Wales. It was 2 identical twins, and for the majority of their life they were silent, and they wrote a ton of stuff together. Wait, I hope this is the same ones. Yes, this is the same ones. They wrote a ton of stories, and ultimately it transpired that they wouldn't talk phrases, and they communicated that in order for one of them to live their own life, one of them would have to die. And one of them ended up dying of extremely suspicious circumstances. And after one died, the other one started speaking.
This, yeah.
And ultimately, what they were saying is that what do you call it? They felt that they shared they had some kind of shared life,
right.
and ultimately, until one of them died, the other one couldn't be free. So there we go. June and Jennifer Gibbons.
What, did they draw straws or something?
Check this out. No, one of them decided, and then she died of a really shit. She died of some kind of, I believe it's something heart related, but there was no drugs or anything in her system. She just, yeah. Check this out. June and Jennifer Gibbons.
Read it. Come on.
Alright, well, June and Jennifer Gibbons, born 11th of April 1963, were identical twins who grew up in Wales. Wales is a kind of shit bit on the top of England.
It's beautiful, don't listen to them.
They can't pronounce anything right. They became known as the Silent Twins, in inverted commas, since they only communicated with each other. They began writing works of fictions, but turned to crime in a bid for recognition. Both women were committed to Broadmoor Hospital, where they held her for 14 years. Early life...
Cut to Jennifer's death. You're not going to read the whole thing, are you?
Well, you've got to get the build up to it, right? Okay,
right,
June and Jennifer were the daughters of Caribbean immigrants, Gloria and Audrey Gibbons. Wait, so that means that the dad...
Aubrey.
Oh, fuck. For a second I thought it was Gloria and Audrey.
You were going to say that means the dad had a sex change.
Anyway, Gloria was a housewife and Aubrey worked as a technician for the Royal Air Force. Shortly after their birth in Barbados, their family moved to Haverford West, Wales. The twin sisters were inseparable, and their particular high-speed
patois.
I don't have my glasses, but anyway.
The twin sisters were inseparable, and their particular high-speed patois made it difficult for people outside their immediate family to understand them. As the only black children in the community, they were ostracised at school. This proved traumatic for the twins, eventually causing the school administrators to dismiss them early each day so that they might avoid bullying. Their language became even more idiosyncratic at this time. Soon it was unintelligible to others. Their language, or idioglossia, qualified as an example of cryptophasia, exemplified by the twins' simultaneous actions which often mirrored each other. Eventually the twins spoke to no one except each other and their younger sister Rose. When the twins turned 14, a succession of therapists tried unsuccessfully to get them to communicate with others. They were sent to separate boarding schools in an attempt to break their isolation, but the pair became catatonic and entirely withdrawn when parted.
I'll do the next one. I can read now.
Take turns.
When they were reunited, my glasses somewhere. I'm short-sighted. Sometimes for the computer, especially when I've had a drink, it gets more difficult. I remember one time I was playing this game and I'd had tons to drink, and I came back and I had to do it because we were like competing against people, and I was totally out of my box.
Yeah, it was Broadmoor, Gary.
Freaking out. Yep, Broadmoor.
Yep.
Anyway, when they were reunited, the two spent a couple of years isolating themselves in their bedroom, engaged in an elaborate play with dolls. Oh, that goes back to what I Like Ghost said. We're all connected here. They created many plays and stories in a sort of soap opera style, reading some of them aloud on tape as gifts for their sister. Inspired by a pair of gift diaries at Christmas 1979, they began their writing careers. They sent away for a mail-order course in creative writing, mugs, and each wrote several novels, set primarily in the United States and particularly Malibu, California. An excitingly exotic locale to romantic girls trapped away in a sleepy Welsh town. Sorry. That wasn't a burp.
That was a groan of a
air
ghost.
moving up. The stories involve young men and the women who exhibit strange and often criminal behaviour. In June, Pepsi Cola addict. In June's Pepsi Cola addict being the name of the story, the high school hero is seduced by a teacher, then sent away to a reformatory where a homosexual guard makes a play at them. What are they like? In Jennifer's The Pugilist, a physician is so eager to save his child's life that he kills the family dog to attain a heart for a transplant.
That sounds pretty good. I should do a reading of one of these for the channel. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome, actually. Write that down.
Yeah.
Right, so The Pugilist is the one to read.
Maybe on a copyright, actually.
The dog spirit lives on in the child and ultimately has its revenge against the father. Jennifer's also wrote Discomania, the story of a young woman who discovers that the atmosphere of a local disco incites patrons to insane violence. She followed up with The Taxi Driver's Son, a radio play called Postman and Postwoman, and several short stories. They wrote it in a unique personal style, often with unwittingly amusing word choices. See, that particular phrase there, unwittingly amusing word choices, actually made me want to go and hunt a couple of them down, but I haven't done it yet.
It's not really the sort of thing you can laugh because it's so bad it's good. Once you know the story behind it, though, it's like you're not going, oh, this will be shit, it'll be funny to read it, it'll be pretty tragic, probably. Their novels were published by a self-publishing press called New Horizons, and they made many attempts to sell short stories to magazines but were unsuccessful. After a brief fling with some American boys as sons of a US Navy serviceman led nowhere, the girls committed a number of crimes including arson around, which led to their being committed to Broadmoor Hospital, a high-security mental health hospital, where they remained for 14 years placed on high doses of antipsychotic medications. They found themselves unable to concentrate. Jennifer apparently developed tardive dyskinesia, a neurological disorder resulting in involuntary repetitive movements. Their medications were apparently adjusted sufficiently to allow them to continue the copious diaries they had begun in 1980, and they were able to join the hospital choir, but they lost most of their interest in creative writing. Case achieved some notice due to newspaper coverage by the Sunday Times journalist Marjorie Wallace. The British tabloid The Sun gave a brief but accurate account of their story, headlined "Genius Twins Won't Speak." They summed that right up. An apparent reference to their having tested above average intelligence when considered for Broadmoor Hospital. Jennifer's death.
Jennifer's death. So this is really what we're coming up to. So I mean, it's been creepy up to now. But anyway, Jennifer's death. According to Wallace, the girls had a long agreement that if one died, the other must begin to speak and lead a normal life. During their stay in hospital, they began to believe that it was necessary for one twin to die, and after much discussion, Jennifer agreed to be the sacrifice. In March 1993, the twins were transferred from Broadmoor to the more open Caswell Clinic in Bridgend, Wales. On arrival, Jennifer could not be aroused.
Roused, not aroused.
Couldn't resist, sorry. Jennifer could not be roused. She was taken to the hospital where she died soon after of acute myocarditis, a sudden inflammation myocarditis, a sudden inflammation of the heart. There was no evidence of drugs or poison in her system, and her death remains a mystery. On a visit a few days later, Wallace recounted that June was in a strange mood. She said that "I'm free at last, liberated, and at last Jennifer has given up her life for me."
Wow. She gave interviews with Harper's Bazaar and The Guardian after Jennifer's death. By 2008, she was living quietly and independently near her parents in West Wales. She is no longer followed by psychiatry services, accepted by our community, and she seeks to put the past behind her.
I mean, that's when I read that, get that to fuck. Sorry guys, if I can just notice that's up in the top right corner. I mean, that's actually super dark.
That is super dark, and it kind of leaves mine a little bit feeling a little bit pallid. Do we want to discuss that? That's all pretty bleak. I mean,
we've got time.
How do you even get into that mindset? How can you even imagine what it must be like to
it's probably a good idea to not be able to get into that mindset. I think that's probably an example of you still being sane. But yeah, no, I mean,
usually you can understand why people do something. So somebody,
they've got a bond. They've got a bond, though, clearly, that no one else other than potentially some other twins will be able to understand. They've obviously had life experiences together, and they've spent most of their time together as well, at which point they've had the ability to create both an elaborate fantasy world and also their entire methods of communication, it would appear, as well. So
wow, that's amazing. I do remember hearing about them, but I didn't realise that one of them had just died. I thought that she'd actually committed suicide, but it sounds like she just decided not to live anymore.
No longer to live.
And she just stopped living.
Which is an interesting one as well, because it brings into this whole debate of whether people do have that much control over their body. I mean, you do hear certain stories, and
you certainly don't. You keep burping.
Yeah, but it's not burping. It's a really weird thing when I'm talking.
It's an internal burp.
Yeah, it's a release of air. It's not actually a burp. Yeah. Anyway, That was a burp. But basically, I remember there was my grandfather, for example. We came back, like my dad's dad. We ended up coming back. My dad works abroad, and he'd got a call from his sister to basically say that his dad was dying. Basically, on his end, my dad hadn't seen his dad for years, and he came back, and both me and him went to the hospital to see. And we went into the room, and he was in a bad way. He was down to one lung and everything. He had a lot of respiratory problems. He was on a mask, and he kind of, as soon as my dad turned up, you could see this kind of thing in his eyes. He lit up, you know, just to see them. And I hadn't seen him for years as well, and it was good to see him. And it was kind of, you see that whole thing, you know, people are reduced to their most basic states and things like that. You know, you see a father and a son, not as grown men, but as they were when they were a father and son, you know, at that kind of age. And it's an interesting, he specifically asked to go on the lower oxygen, and maybe 10 minutes after my dad arrived, he died. And you feel that there's almost this thing where you can see people give up the will to live, and they can just almost shut their body down. So, I mean, having seen that firsthand, a couple of examples, not just that one, I feel that there is almost this thing to do. If you're in this state, and you there is a possibility to have, I mean, obviously your mind controls every aspect of your body. Most of it,
not consciously. You don't have conscious control.
Subconscious, of course.
It's not really your mind. Your brain has control. But your mind doesn't necessarily. You know, your breathing, you can override it. But when you fall asleep, you're not consciously. You cannot consciously make yourself breathe. Your heart goes automatically. You have no control over that.
Stuff like your breathing, though, for example, like, you know, you do that without thinking until someone goes to, like, there was always that thing that someone said to me that was a dick move to do. Someone's got to go, someone and go, you are now breathing independently.
Yeah.
And then
you're that guys, you're now breathing
independently
on manual mode.
And now you've got to sit and think about it and do it that way, and it's kind of annoying. But there's almost that thing where it's just like, you know, people can choose if they want to.
You can switch. You can switch that on with breathing. With certain things have different levels of control. But I think with people who are already dying, they can fight to stay alive a little bit longer. But I've never really known of anyone been able to just switch their body off who's healthy initially to make themselves die.
I mean, that's more of an elaborate thing. I think in that case he had respiratory problems. He kind of chose to give up the ghost. But in that scenario, it was interesting to see. I mean, I'm literally talking 10 minutes after he turned up.
But you know, it's like right, I'm just going to relax now. I'm going to stop trying to sit up. I'm going to stop trying to breathe strongly. I'm just going to let it go.
I'm going to fight it.
Yeah. And that's you can understand physically how that works, but to make yourself just, it's insane. It's really interesting. It's really fascinating. I wouldn't say it really goes into the realms of the paranormal, but it kind of shows how maybe alien these people were. Not alien, but like that the whole mindset, their outlook, their psychology, their neurology must have been so different just from the upbringing that they had and the similarity that they had to each other and the closeness they had, the separation from the rest of the world. It's amazing. The human mind is an
I suppose the other one as well, that if you think about it too, is that like in terms of like the way people are, oh fuck, I've just completely forgotten what I was going to say. We were talking about the. Oh, I'm really bad for that. I normally only do this with Michael. Me and Michael are really bad. We'll sit and we'll be having a conversation.
I think you just lose the thread.
I used to be fucking perfect at this, and then I met Michael, and then slowly but surely he's chipped away at my ability to keep a conversation going.
Or are you gonna? Is it gonna?
No, it was about, you know, people giving up the will to live, and I just think it's funny that obviously the what's weird about that story is, as you say, they were obviously healthy people. Yeah. But still, they found.
Well, we assume they were ostensibly healthy people. It could be that one of them was sick and it was just never reported, or they kept it to themselves. But you know, it would seem that she was healthy. And
but either way, I think me and you certainly should probably look into some of their works, and even if you're going to do a narration of it.
I don't know. It sounds like it might be under copyright still. But we'll see. We'll have a look at. We'll look into that. It might not even be scary. It might not be interesting. It might not bother. But we'll see. Yeah, my one is, it's not as deep as that. It was just a story I read on Reddit that kind of just creeped me out a little bit. And it's not even anything that original. It was more a few little details in the story and just the kind of the general execution of it. And it ties in a little bit with what I Like Ghosts was saying earlier about lights and things in the sky. Okay, so this is a story posted on a thread called Reddit. Have you seen UFOs or aliens? Do you have proof of any encounters? Have you been abducted by aliens? Let the Reddit community know the truth. Now, again, just for clarity's sake, I'm not necessarily a believer in alien abductions.
But you open to it?
Well, tiny bit, but no,
I mean,
really.
if aliens turned up, you wouldn't be completely disbelieved.
No, I don't. I think almost all alien encounters can be attributed to things, to simple explanations, to psychological. But you never. The thing is, if it happened once, if it had happened once or twice on Earth, we wouldn't know because it would be all hidden among all the fake reports. So who knows? You know, if it happened, we'd never know about it because there's so many reports that are either hoaxes or paranoid. Anyway, this one I just enjoyed this as a story. It's about a guy called Meaningless Debate Man, and he posted this 2 years ago.
As opposed to a master debater.
Yeah, a mass debater. Yeah, okay. I grew up in the Arctic. In the town I lived in, as long as it was a clear night, it was an extremely normal occurrence to see all sorts of strange lights move across the sky. Keep in mind that the winter is long in the Arctic, which means longer amounts of time being spent under the stars. It's quite beautiful, as long as you don't mind the cold so much.
This is the thing, isn't it?
What?
This is the thing.
No. Sometimes I would drive a snowmobile. That was the Antarctic. Sometimes I would drive a snowmobile a few kilometres out of town, shut it down, and just lie on the ground looking up at the majesty of it all. The only thing disturbing the silence being the occasional breeze. The Northern Lights were also a common occurrence. Doesn't happen every day, but often enough that they start getting ignored after a while, as long as they aren't too spectacular anyway. On one particular night, without asking my parents, it was their snowmobile, I decided to go out on one of my midnight drives out of town. I drove a few kilometres over the hills to find a spot devoid of light pollution from town, shut off the engine, and settled into a good spot to look up and be retrospective.
Carry on.
It wasn't all that interesting a scene, a few satellites passing here and there, some relatively boring activity affecting the magnetic field, etc. And then I started noticing a clicking noise. At first I thought it was the sound of the snow machine cooling down, as engine expands and contracts a lot in the cold. But the source of the sound definitely wasn't coming from that direction. My next thought was that there must be an animal nearby, in which case I need to get out of there fast. You really don't want to mess with a wild animal in the Arctic. But the clicking is far too regular for an animal to produce it. It was fairly mechanical sounding. And again, the source of the sound isn't coming from anywhere around me laterally. It was coming from up. So naturally, I look up, determined to ascertain the origin of the strange noise.
Carry on. I was trying not to be disruptive, but also wanting to reply to Michael. Carry on.
Anyway.
Carry on.
He's read it by now. I see what I always see. Stars, northern lights, a lazy satellite crossing the sky, all normal stuff. But before I dismiss it altogether and begin heading home, I notice something strange in the aurora borealis. There were 3 rather strong points of light. I ignored them at first, thinking they were oddly symmetrical stars, but this proved false. They were definitely getting brighter. I kept staring in morbid fascination as they grew stronger and stronger, yet still only remaining single points in the sky, all the while the clicking noise is getting louder and louder and more pronounced, almost like someone started tapping with a pen on a desk to clacking billiard balls together on my head. Then it stops, the lights are gone, the clicking is not heard, and aside from being a little stiff, cold and rather petrified, I'm fine. So I jump back on the snowmobile thinking maybe I'm going crazy. The machine takes a little longer than usual to start up and I'm beginning to worry, but soon it's running and I'm heading back to town. As I'm driving back, several plausible scenarios as to what occurred are running through my head. I'm thinking it could have been a helicopter from the mine or some strange Northern Lights behaviour, etc. Probably not that big a deal. I pull up at the house. The lights are all dark. Strange. It wasn't that late when I left. Open outer doors as quietly as possible, remove winter gear, enter inner door, house is quiet. Really quiet. My parents are teachers and are usually up late marking or watching TV. All I'm thinking is I have to get to bed without anyone noticing. Proves to be easy as I'm soon under the covers. I go to set my alarm for the next day, and all of a sudden, everything makes sense. Engine hard to start, stiff, rather chilly, nobody up when I was gone what felt like a relatively short period of time. It was almost 11 p.m. when I left, and now it was creeping up on 6 a.m. I stood staring at clicking lights for almost 7 hours. I never ended up sleeping that night, and I don't go on late night snow machine rides anymore. I thought that was pretty creepy.
So
he lost 7 hours.
He got molested, and then he blocked it out of his mind.
Yeah. But there's something about clicking lights in the sky.
Well, they always say that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's an X-Files thing as well. But they always say that it's the time displacement, isn't it? What is it in X-Files? 8 minutes. So it's some specific unit of time.
I don't know. Well, he lost like 11 hours, but I think that's probably bullshit. But it was a good story. It's good. I mean, usually there's no little green men or anything in it. It's just the suggestion.
Just a creepy.
Just something.
Doesn't even
that
need
just
to
gives me a wee shiver. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot more fucked up stuff on the internet. There's a lot of creepier stories.
Yeah, no shit.
Just something about that one. Just again, it ties back in with that whole being scared looking out at the stars at night thing. I'm not really scared of ghosts. I don't really. It's not something that enters into my mind that a ghost could appear, but something about the vastness of the night sky just terrifies me.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, Martin. I am of a need to micturate and get an additional beer, but I shall give you. I will give you the option. I will give you the option to go first just now. Should you need to go to get anything, at which point I will tag team you out.
What am I going to do? How am I going to fill the dead air?
I'm sure you'll find something to do, but I'm giving you the option as a good guy to go and do something tonight. Should you need to do it? Do you need?
No, I think I'm alright.
Okay.
What else have we got?
We've got an untold amount of banter. We've got the rest of your questions, plus we've got more of the game.
What have we
plus
got?
We've got
to
a
fill
text
the gap
adventure.
Well,
do one of the text adventures.
Let's see them then.
Right, let's do it. Changing space age mode engaged. The really annoying thing about Wirecast is you can't fucking change the size of that webcam box. Bullshit. Sort it out, guys. We're not paying £600 for the real thing. Not that this is pirate. This is all legitimate. Honestly, this is a free version. Right. Fuck. Talk amongst yourself, guys. Right, there's a couple of different ones, right? I found this one, right? And that marionette is very familiar, right? So you've got to go through all the stuff that it says, and you've got to type to continue it, right? So you use the mouse, keyboard rather. I'll be back momentarily.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Hero Rob presents a journey of guilt, fear, and denial. These are your first times. For what? Open your eyes. Open eyes. Hey! You're in a large room that looks as though it belongs in the basement of a hospital. A coppery smell seems to grow with every breath. The fluorescent lights cast a dark yellow... Dark yellow? Isn't that brown? I don't know. On most of the dirty dull grey in this room when they aren't flickering off. Your shoes make small ripping sounds as you walk across the sticky tiles. There are several gurneys piled into a corner. Morgue drawers line 3 of the 4 walls, extending up to a ceiling low enough for you to reach. An off-white sheet covers a figure on a gurney in the centre of the room. The door on the last wall is covered with a strange brown crust. To get your bearings, make an arbitrary assumption that door will lead north. You can go north. I'm going to remove the... What was that off-white sheet? Remove sheet from the corpse or whatever it is. Probably die. A life-size wooden doll of a pregnant woman is under...
The first one's open.
There's a life-size wooden doll of a pregnant woman.
Right, you've typed in open eyes, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's this.
What can we do with the doll? Examine doll.
Molest doll.
The doll, as large as a real woman, lays atop a gurney. She is naked. What seems to be a pinkish tumour is growing out of her stomach, making her seem pregnant. This is fucked up. Her green eyes seem to follow you, but that's just the trick of the light. Examine tumour. The pink flesh resembles a pregnant belly. It seems to be securely bonded to the wooden doll. Should I take the... Take tumour. That sucks.
Jamaican lager beer, mate?
Oh, thanks, man. It won't let me take the tumour, Callum.
Oh, get that tumour taken.
It won't even let me lick it. Right, okay.
Remove tumour.
Examine eyes. Can't see it. Right, okay, let's go. What else was there in the room? Examine brown crust.
Alan says get tumour.
I tried, Alan, I tried. God's sake, give me a break. Examine. It said there's a brown, right, examine.
Get winged sandals.
Crust. It says right there, there's the door on the last wall is covered with a dark brown crust.
Let me
right, no, right, okay, I'm going to go north. Right, no, okay, right, hold on, right. This mouse is way too sensitive, mate.
Really? I mean, I find it undersensitive. Anyway, let's not get into that discussion. Right, okay, right, what are we at now? A doll as large as a real woman lays atop a gurney. Oh, she's naked. What seems to be a pinkish tumour is growing out of her stomach, making her seem... Her green eyes seem to follow you, but that's a trick of light. Clang, dodge.
No, nothing's coming. It's just, it's something on the other side of the door.
What is sound?
You can't.
Answer. Door.
Hit door. Try hit door.
Right, hit door. Fucking... I'm trying elf everything. It's not working.
Here, let me in. Right, okay, so examine door. The brown crust is fragile and easily crumbles away if you touch it.
You got it.
Take crust. I want
touch crust.
I've done that. I've examined crust. It won't let me do it.
Touch it now. Touch crust.
No, it's not examining the crust. Right, okay. So let's go north. The way is locked.
Oh.
Open door. It's locked from the other side. Kick door. Hit door. No, tried hit door. Knock door. What else is there in the room? Let's have a look.
Falcon punch.
Where's the mouse pointer gone? Where? Oh yeah, it's okay, right.
You know there's a scroll wheel, Martin. You don't need to click in.
I know, but it's Mac OS. I'm not used to it. Right, more drawers. Oh yeah, more drawers. Right, okay. Open drawers.
Oh, the drawers are locked, mate.
Find key. Cut tumour.
Ooh.
Take knife.
Karate chop.
Right, okay, we can't get the drawer. I'm guessing there's a knife in the drawer. We're going to cut the tumour to get the key. That's what I reckon. So, what did you say? Weren't there some shelves? What?
Examine
shelves, right. No, okay.
They've got you by the balls,
scroll
mate.
wheel's not working. That's why I was doing it right. Ripping sounds, ticky tiles, piled into a corner.
Well,
okay. So,
right.
So I'm gonna examine gurneys. Right. This is my next decision.
As you do. Oh, here we go. Gurneys are dirty, and a few of them are tipped over. Off.
Blade. Take blade.
Yep. Hey. Scalpel.
Cut tumour with
scalpel. Cut tumour. Hey.
With shaking hands, you slide the scalpel across the pink flesh. But either the scalpel is too dull or the tumour is stronger than you had thought. Super tumour.
Yeah.
Because you only scratched it. You drag it across again, harder this time. Blood drains out rather than squirting. The skin. I thought it was a wooden doll.
Yeah, well, it's got a tumour, mate.
No, yeah.
Can't be a wooden doll.
The skin folds to either side, and dozens of tiny spiders come crawling out onto the gurney and your hand. Startled, you jump back and brush them off. When you glance back, you see that the spiders have disappeared. They must have squeezed into the drawers or are hiding somewhere. Spider webs are visible inside the tumour. Examine spider webs. Examine spide webs. Amidst the massive intertwining nest, there seemed to be a large cluster of webs. Spiders often wrap their prey like this. You wonder what can be inside the cluster. Open cluster. Examine cluster. Large cluster, can still fit in your hand. The mystery of what's inside the cluster bothers you. Where is the mother of
Sweethead says, splinter the mannequin and use it to pick the lock.
Cut cluster. No. Open cluster. Can't open it. Okay, so there's something inside. We can't cut it. We can't open it.
This was only meant to fill the interim of
Eat the spiders.
you going to get a beer, and now you seem to have, unless you manage to get this tumour fixed.
Kill them with fire. Okay, I can't eat the spiders. Eat cluster. Open drawers.
Don't worry, guys. We are paying attention to the chat.
I give up. You get any ideas?
Right. Okay. Open the drawers. They are locked. Not fuck out of
pick lock.
Scalpel lock. Nah, you're being too specific, mate. Right, okay. Oh, fuck. There goes the stairs. It's a large cluster, but it can still fit in your hand. The mystery of what's inside cluster balls. But where's the mother of all the spiders? Is it hiding in the web? Have you looked at the webs?
Yeah.
Unless it examine webs. Hey, look! Fucking.
No, this is the same as before.
Amidst the massive intertwining, there seems to be a large cluster of webs. Spiders can unwrap the play. You wonder what could be inside the cluster. Unwrap web, have you tried that? No.
I've not tried unwrap. No.
This is bullshit.
Use a scalpel pick lock. I tried, yeah, use scalpel on drawers. You try but can't seem to pry them open.
Get boot of Hermes. The winged sandals. Jump the chasm.
Jump the chasm.
I think this is bested you, mate. That's embarrassing.
This is maybe a bit too in depth for.
Is it? Alright.
I think I'm not sure if the audience are up for the. I mean, not that it bothers me, you understand, but let me just have a quick read of the right. Someone got an off-white sheet, glass wall, brown crust.
What?
Callum sucks at writing.
Mate, there's nothing there.
You didn't close it.
Oh fuck. Don't save changes. Thanks very much, Microsoft Paint, you bastard. Grassy man.
Right, I think we're scunnered. Anyone get any other suggestions? Look for Windows. There's a suggestion. I'm sure they would have mentioned Windows when. Can't even kill yourself.
Bullshit. We'll come back to this in another stream. Ooh.
No. Use scalpel on cluster. Well, that's what I tried. I didn't use that exact phrasing though. Let's try that. Hey.
Ah.
Remove cluster. Okay, it was just the exact phrasing that we had to use, right? You try to reach the cluster without touching many of the webs on the way. You find that this is impossible. You shove your hand through halfway to the elbow, grasp the cluster and jerk your hand out. Still no sign of the mother spider. Peeling back the layers of webbing, you find an alabaster egg. Open egg.
The clangs are now capitalised. I feel I need to point that out.
Oh yeah, I see that. I think we must be getting somewhere, guys. Break egg. Use scalpel on egg. By the way, thank you for... Is that you, Mike? Ghastly Tales? Thank you, Mike. You've... scratch away at it, you'll destroy it. Okay. You throw egg at door.
I can't see egg at door.
No. Well,
right, okay, let's
not.
Let a better mind look at it. You're trying to reach the cluster, but it's touching many of the webs in the way. You find that this is impossible. You quickly shove your hand through the doorway to the elbow, grab the cluster and jerk your hand out. Still no sign of the mother spider. Peeling back the layers of webbing, you find an alabaster egg. Take egg. Have you not tried that?
I did take egg, didn't I?
No, you haven't. Take egg.
Ah, okay. This is like the slippers of Hermes.
Yeah, the boots of Hermes. The way of sandals, mate.
Yeah.
You're already carrying it. Remove egg.
No, I've already carrying the egg. You are already carrying the egg.
You can't remove it. Oh. Open. Wait, have you tried open?
Aye.
You have you found an alabaster egg. Crack egg, someone said. Try that.
That did it.
Did
Thanks, son. I did it, but it didn't work.
Smash fuck out of egg. What is it, Gurney?
It's a trolley.
Oh.
It's like a, they push bodies along on it.
Cool. Someone says examine egg. That's not a crazy idea.
That's not a bad idea. Thanks, Wadehead. Hollow but solid, fits in the palm of your hand. That doesn't help. It's not hollow but solid. Okay, so there's nothing in it. Right, well. Right, what can we do now? We've done the spiders. There's...
Remove hand. Because if your arm's in it, remove arm or
no,
something.
I've got the egg in my hand.
Aye, but can you not remove the arm?
What's it doing? I hate Max, man. Fuck's sake.
It's a scroll wheel, come down.
It's not touching the scroll wheel.
Look. If you interference for that other trackpad.
Look.
It's that other trackpad. Anyway.
Right, well, I can't go back to the description.
Anyway, why don't you check out, what do you call it? Why don't you try and remove your arm? Oh, fuck.
Remove my arm from what?
The hole.
It's not in the hole anymore.
Isn't it?
No.
Everyone's saying examine egg.
I've done that and it's just...
Should we move on to something else? I fear this is getting the best of you, Martin.
Do you want a shot? Do you want to take over?
No, it's fine.
Because you don't want to be humiliated by this.
That's fine.
It's bested these guys as well. I've tried smashing the gurney into door. Look. I don't understand your comment.
Clang.
Wonder if we can speak to the doll. She says nothing. Maybe it's a clue.
Can you speak to the spider?
The spiders are disappeared. Inventory, scalpel, sheet,
alabaster eggs there.
Wait a minute, is there something we can use the yeah, I've taken the egg.
Right.
So, can I use something... I've examined the drawers already.
And you've definitely tried... Someone says,
yeah, I can use
someone said, did you
crust.
use scalpel and truss? Yeah.
It doesn't actually recognise the crust as an object within the room. It's just part of the description of the door.
Mm.
So, I can...
And we've tried removing an arm from the hole.
Yes, oh, it's not the fucking hole. Right. I am going to put egg in sheet. No. Okay. Cut sheet. No. Put sheet on doll again. No. Nah. Smash doll. No, I don't think it recognises smash as a command. Okay, we're gonna. I think we're defeated by this. Do you want a shot, Callum?
There's actually a walkthrough for it online for
Yeah, we're not gonna cheat. We're not gonna cheat. No, that's giving it.
Alright, swap seats.
I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna fucking work this out.
Swap seats then.
Yeah, right, you have a shot. You're not allowed to have that.
I'm not cheating with it. Clang. Alright, what are we saying here? No,
I got nothing.
Moved
doll. Maybe there's something under it. I think we should move on. I think people are getting.
Yeah, I think people are probably going to start to get. But I think people are getting annoyed.
I'm getting bored.
Yeah. All right. Well, what was your next thing that you had on it?
Well, what have we got? What is Callum and viewers? What is the scariest non-horror film you've seen? Can we go back to the full screen on us?
Yes. Right. Well,
what is the scariest non-horror film you've ever seen?
I'd like to go on with a movie that I introduced you to earlier on, which I actually did think about, and then Zoe obviously brought up to our mind. There's a movie called The Hunt, which I showed you recently.
Yeah. That's a good
starring Mads Mikkelsen. It's essentially, he played Le Chiffre in the Casino Royale. Essentially, it's a movie about a school teacher who a child kind of falsely accuses him of sexual abuse, but kind of she gets caught up on it, and she's only in nursery.
She kind of accidentally.
She's below 4, and
she's shown something inappropriate by her brother, and she is annoyed at the teacher for something, and she says something about him that raises alarms, which is just purely made up. She doesn't realise the implications of what she says, and it just snowballs with hysteria, and it gets quite, he becomes accused of pedophilia, and everyone, the town start interviewing the children, and
this is still saying Clang. I'm going to close this.
finding evidence of abuse where there's none, and the guy is being sort of witch hunted. It's really pretty. It's a different kind of scary. It's the kind of scary that you think, a lot of horror focuses on being the actual victim of violence, or in some cases in films like say Last House on the Left or whatever, of being the victim of sexual violence. What the Hunt does, which is really interesting, is it focuses on what it's like to be the victim of a false accusation of sexual violence, false accusation of sexual
and there's some real
crimes,
focus on
which is terrifying in itself. I think almost as scary as something like that.
He becomes completely ostracised from society. He becomes on his own, and he becomes the victim of, I'd probably say, an anonymous aggressor that is ultimately an embodiment of the entire community.
Of their negative toward the hate.
I don't want to ruin too much. You should go and watch it. It's on Netflix UK, certainly. Anyway.
It kind of has some horror elements, but it's more of a drama than a horror film. But it's a different kind of horror film. It's a film that makes you really think. Imagine what it must be. We've had enough films that make us imagine what it's like to be a victim of violence or the victim of abuse. But there's not many films that make you imagine being the victim of a false accusation of being the aggressor. That in a way is almost as scary as being the victim, because it's something that will, even if you're proved innocent, that will follow you for the rest of your life. That's really scary. It's a scary idea, and
Well, this was this question we had earlier on of what constitutes a horror film, because obviously you said Threads. A couple of people are saying it here too. Threads is a horror film from the point of view it's a worst case scenario.
He's stolen my suggestion, actually. Alan. But yeah, definitely.
Actually, Michael said it back.
Threads is a really terrifying film, just for its realism. It's I don't know. Has everyone seen Threads?
I imagine most people outside the UK wouldn't have seen it. Even many people within the UK wouldn't say it. It's relatively niche, unless you were probably of a certain age. I think I came across it because I had a real period of just watching a whole load of apocalyptic films.
Threads is a film about nuclear war, but it's a film about nuclear war that's unlike any other film about nuclear war. It's not Mad Max. It's not, any of these kind of big action movies. It doesn't treat the apocalypse, unlike so many films that handle the apocalypse films or TV shows, like, even things like The Walking Dead treat the apocalypse in some ways like a kind of fantasy. Like, we can steal cars, we can do this. We
I
can
think
jump
The
in
Walking
tanks
Dead certainly takes a lot of convenience.
It's a circle jerk, Threads is basically a really down to earth, realistic, almost documentary. Like, in fact, it's intercut with documentary scenes of explanations of what would happen under certain circumstances and sort of scientific basis of what would happen after a nuclear war, and it's intercut with drama, human drama.
Yeah.
You're introduced to these characters, just normal, ordinary people living their lives in the northeast of England, and what happens to them in nuclear war. And most of them just die outright, and the few unlucky survivors, the rest of the film basically just recounts what happens.
Transport back in time.
What happens to unlucky survivors.
Pre-industrial revolution.
Suddenly these people are living in almost a kind of dark ages economy. Everyone's suffering, everyone's working as peasants on the land. They go from just being your average everyday early 1980s or late 70s kind of people with consumer goods and everything, and by the end of the film, one generation after the start, everyone is basically living as they did. And you have characters who were knocking about in cars and talking on telephones and listening to the radio, blah blah blah, and by the end of the film they're working farming mud in a kind of radioactive field somewhere.
That's a good point, actually. Alan talked about the war game, which I believe was done in the 60s or late 60s.
Yeah.
I think, but, Threads was more of an attempt to make a kind of more realistic gritty.
It's
focused on people rather than the war game focused on
Threads. Threads almost single-handedly destroyed the British public's appetite for nuclear war.
Yep.
Prior to Threads, I don't know what it's like in the US, but prior to Threads,
they had
people were like, we need to buy.
Was it War Games? Was the American one?
They had. I think it was called When the Wind Blows. That was a
British. That was
a British cartoon. But basically, okay. So my point is that prior to Threads, there wasn't much. Comparatively, there wasn't much anti-nuclear sentiment. There was kind of feeling that, Britain needs lots of nuclear weapons. We need lots of nuclear weapons to defend ourselves, and there was some small groups of people who were against that, but most people kind of believed that nuclear weapons were a good thing. You had to have them, and almost overnight, when Threads came out, it basically showed that in a nuclear war, there are never any winners. No one knows who wins. Everyone suffers. Everyone dies. Our way of life is over. And very soon, I mean, there's the whole kind of thing. They took the piss out of it in South Park with the whole duck and cover and everyone will be fine and blah blah blah. That was just wiped out overnight by Threads.
Well, there was a question about it as well, because without meaning to get political, there was a whole thing.
The day after. Alan, thank you.
There was a whole, without meaning to get, like I said, political, there's a whole thing about, obviously, when we had our vote for Scottish independence here, one of the big talking points was Trident, which is a nuclear-based
defence program
missile system in the UK, largely based outside of Scotland.
In Scotland, largely based in Scotland.
Well, in the waterways anyway, not physically on land.
Vaseline,
was their kind of response program or their first strike program. And essentially there was a whole talk about the fact that if we removed the nuclear missile systems, we would be vulnerable. But I think, to be honest, my belief has always been on it that if there was ever to be a nuclear strike by anyone, it would kind of be such a catastrophic. Look at Hiroshima, for example. Obviously, that's on a more localised scale. The H bombs back then are tiny in comparison to the megaton bombs we got now. But you know,
there
I
were
feel
H-bombs, there were A-bombs, there were atom bombs rather than hydrogen.
You know, any kind of any strike these days, I think would be such a kind of catastrophic failure of humanity that I think it becomes almost redundant to say we need a nuclear deterrent, because as soon as you start firing nuclear missiles at someone, that's the end of it. As far as I'm concerned,
it's a tough one. It's almost like if someone has nuclear weapons, you need someone else to have them. So Russia's got them, America's got them, right? But do you need everyone? Do you need everyone to have it? Do we need to have it? I mean, if America's got nuclear weapons and Russia's got nuclear weapons and Iran's got nuclear weapons, then one of them goes off, all the others are going to nuke them off the face of the planet. You don't need necessarily, I don't think, every country, you know, the UK, Australia, all these, France, all these countries, I don't think we all need nuclear weapons. But anyway, we're getting into politics now.
You can find the videos online.
Getting slightly off topic, but
there's almost something hypnotic about it, because you can go and find like the Tsar bomb, which was the largest one ever dropped by Russia, which was, I believe, between 50 and 58 megatons. The Russian one, you can actually find the footage of online, and there's almost something hypnotically beautiful about the cloud of it, but you realise
it's basically it's an artificial sun. Well, uncontrolled fusion and fission. Is it fission or fusion? Is there a little bit of fusion goes on inside a nuclear? I don't know.
No, it doesn't matter. We're getting way off.
It's not
because we've not achieved any kind of fusion.
No, I think we have, but not controlled.
Not cold fusion, anyway.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but Threads, terrifying film, and it's probably one of the scariest non-horror films.
But it's a good question, because I think people see horror films and they see a guy with a knife hunting down a bunch of teenagers, and films like Screams and stuff like that, and even Halloween. Although Halloween's a fantastic film, it's kind of done that, and I think the idea of a horror film has kind of been narrowed, you know, in public consensus, but actually at the same time, what constitutes a horror film, as far as I'm concerned, is actually a much wider scope.
Well, I don't know. I think it's quite difficult to define a horror film, actually, because you've got you say about, you know, teens being massacred and all that, and they kind of picking off one by one. You've also got, you know, the supernatural horror. You've got horror thrillers that kind of straddle the line. It is really difficult to define it. I guess the one thing you can't even define it by saying it's supposed to be scary, because if you watch something like, I don't know, like say The Human Centipede, it's not really trying to be scary, it's trying to gross you out.
Yeah.
So you're getting into another realm there.
And there's been a big thing with that in horror, of this kind of ramp up the gore stuff like that. And almost for a while anyway, and it's still a case with a lot of people, gore became synonymous with horror, and it was just like, if you've got gore, you've got horror.
Yeah. I guess it's a film that tries to thrill you by appealing to those somewhat negative emotions like fear, disgust, shock. But you can't really narrow it down to one. The simplest explanation would be it's a film that relies on the emotion of fear, but that doesn't cover all of them. You would have to broaden your definition there.
Guy made a good point of saying Mamma Mia. That is a fucking horror film.
Disgust, certainly, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's become almost a kind of pejorative term. I think a lot of times if a film comes out and it's got horror elements, but it's considered worthy enough, people will tend not to call it a horror film. They'll call it something else. Call it a thriller. They'll call it a drama. The things tend to get lumbered with the horror title if it's considered a bit naff, you know, considered a bit tropey, a bit cliche, you know. I don't really think that's fair, but that tends to happen quite a lot as well.
Do you want to move on to your next subbing point, or should we go back to the game?
The game, let's do this.
It's the Game Boy. Right, thanks very much. Where's your little dish of...
I think you had it. In fact, I think I had the red and you had the white.
Yeah, you did. Where the fuck's the white going?
You left it in the living room.
I didn't take it back through. There is there.
Oh, okay.
Fucking idiots. Okay, so... Again, to
the brave little toaster.
We've got some people here that weren't here at the start. Basically, the game is we're formulating. We've got a bowl full that Martin's got that he hasn't read yet of characters that are all famous cops from films. Some of them some of them are private detectives, some of them are a little bit more. But essentially, Martin's going to pick two, form them into a buddy cop duo, and in here is a bowl of horror characters that Martin's created, and we face them off against each other. So first off,
not horror characters that I've created.
Yeah,
a bowl full of little bits of paper that I've created containing horror characters. Yeah.
Okay, let's get your first one.
So, Serpico.
Yep.
Who famously wiped out corruption in the New York police department, or not very successfully, but attempted to wipe out corruption in the New York
did his
police
best. He
department.
was a good cop.
Good cop. Or Chan Wing Yan from Infernal Affairs, which I must admit I haven't seen.
Right, Chan Wing Yan was the guy
That's actually, is that cut off that bit of paper?
He infiltrated the Triad for a good number of years and was ultimately betrayed. So he's a pretty shit-hot guy. So you've got him plus Serpico. That's a good team up.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got a man that is a master of illusion and deception, plus a kung fu fucking badass with a gun. You know, in the sense that he's a thing, but and they're also Serpico. He's good too. Versus
he's all right.
Oh fuck! These poor bastards. Versus Sharknado. So we've got two men who are actually both pretty skillful in their chosen careers, versus Sharknado, unstoppable natural phenomenon that is tornadoes combined with sharks.
Sharks in a tornado.
Yeah. Now
and falling generally from the sky.
Chan Wing Yan and Serpico are a pretty deadly combination, but against Sharknado,
Serpico, what would he do? He would put in a complaint.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he would kind of try and break down the corruption, but would find nobody to do it. So he's out. Chan Wing Yan could potentially impersonate a tornado, at which point he could blend in with the other tornadoes. But I don't know.
It doesn't seem like these guys stand a very good chance, but I have to say, if you've seen Sharknado and you've seen the fucking drips that managed to fight the Sharknado in that film, these guys stand a lot better chance than the guys.
So you're saying, I haven't seen Sharknado, but you're saying that Serpico and Chan Wing Yang are...
I think they're a lot more competent and a lot
they're good
more,
cops, they're very good cops.
There's some guy that looks a little bit like the guy at Deep Blue Sea. Do you remember the main guy in Deep Blue Sea? What was his name again? I forget his name. But he looks a bit like him.
Hugh Grant.
No, fuck off. And he does backflips and chainsaws sharks up, but he looks like he's just like this douchebag surfer dweeb. These guys would.
He does backflips and chainsaw sharks.
Yeah, but
you're slagging him.
Yeah, but he's not the kind of guy you'd imagine could do stuff like that. So if within the Sharknado universe, that guy and his bickering, annoying pals can kill hundreds of wind-borne sharks, then Serpico and that other guy
can probably up.
Yeah.
Fair
so
point.
I think they've got a decent shout.
Right, well, there you go. Serpico and Yang Wing. Oh, they fucked Sharknado. Okay, so your next lot.
You become a killer whale and fight the sharks in Sharknado. Yeah,
that's true. Killer whales are shit.
Ed Exley, Guy Pearce from LA Confidential.
Yeah, Ed Exley, good cop. Bit of a
haven't
dick,
seen
but
that either.
LA Confidential. Watch it, mate. Take the DVD home with you.
Well, Graham from Manhunt. It's just from Manhunter, or
what a combination!
Just from Manhunter, or from the
Red
TV
Dragon?
show. He's in the TV. He's a main character in the Hannibal TV show as well.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the main guy.
I haven't seen the Hannibal TV show. Someone
That's
mentioned
where I
it in
know
the
from.
comments. Right, okay, so Ed Exley, Guy Pearce's character, bit by the book, but later becomes a bit more of a fucking hard-edged bastard. And Will Graham from Manhunter, a kind of uncompromising psychological cop that is really good at getting into people's minds, but is also a very practical man as well. Ultimately is involved in bringing down the Tooth Fairy himself in the film Manhunter by Michael Mann. Go and watch it. Ultimately later remade as Red Dragon. So let's see who they are up
Don't be
against.
Hannibal Lecter. Don't be Hannibal Lecter.
That would be fucking... Is there Hannibal Lecter in this?
Well, he might be.
Demons from Demons.
Have you seen Demons?
I have not seen Demons. Fill me in, mate.
Okay, so a bunch of people who happen to be in Berlin, including a girl travelling to a music college and a couple of gearheads, get free tickets to go and see a horror film at an abandoned cinema by a guy with a metal plate on his face. He walks about with chains and stuff and hands out free tickets to this event. Everyone thinks it's like a big sort of promotional thing for a new film that's coming out.
Okay.
They all go to the cinema, this newly renovated cinema. There's only one member of staff, this usher lady, this really creepy usher, and then the film comes on, and there's a pimp, and some prostitutes, and an old guy and his wife who argue, and some girls, and a boy and a girlfriend, and basically, usual horror film crowd. They all gather in this cinema, start watching this film. Turns out to be a really violent horror film, and then one of the prostitutes starts feeling sick, and she turns into this kind of monstrous demon thing and starts attacking people, and they try to leave. Everyone panics, tries to escape cinema, and the doors have been boarded up, so they're trapped inside this cinema playing this horror film while members of the audience start to turn into these demons. Right. And then later on in the film, a guy rides a motorcycle through the cinema with a samurai sword and massacres them, and then a helicopter falls through the roof and they escape, and Saxon comes on. You know the band Saxon? There's a Saxon song. It's just fucking brilliant. It's an amazing film. But anyway, these things, they're kind of like zombies, but they're not really. They're fast and they've got sharp teeth. They can be. You don't need to shoot them in the head to kill them. You can kill them just normally, but they're really violent. And
so you can kill them normally. So at which point
they're kind of weird. Like they do weird things. Like one gets killed and then another demon rips out its back. So they're kind of a little bit like Deadites from the Evil Dead movies. Right. So they can be killed. Maybe a bit easier than Deadites, but they're like Deadites, they're unpredictable. So
right. So the scenario is that Will Graham and Ed Exley have gone to see in a film that's turned out to release the demons.
Yes.
Now, normally, the more heavy duty of the two was Bud White, who was played by Russell Crowe, who was the more hardcore of the two. But Ed Exley ultimately ended up...
It is good, Alan. Watch it. Honestly. Sorry, Ed Exley, go on.
Ed Exley ended up being the kind of by the book guy who ultimately turned around to be a bit more of a hard ass. So if he was kind of that stage later on, you'd be a bit more of a badass. Will Graham was always very psycho, analytical.
He wouldn't be much use.
But I don't know. Later on, when he started to get more unhinged, he got in about everything. So I think the two of them, if they had their guns, could probably hold their own. But if they didn't.
It depends how many other people are in the cinema, how many other people are going to get turned. Whether one of them can ride a dirt bike.
Yep.
That's kind of key.
Neither of them were seen to be riding dirt bikes. Ed Exley was in the 1950s, I believe, LA Confidential, so... 50s or 60s, anyway.
Oh, was the original?
Yeah.
Not the 90s? Was it the 90s?
No, there was it's called like LA Quartet or something, I believe was the name of the book or something, and then they made a film called I
Like Ghosts.
Thank you very much for joining us, and I will see you on the next stream hopefully. Yeah, there was LA Quartet that I believe was made into LA Competition, the film, but go and watch it. I will give you the DVD.
You should watch Demons.
Yeah, okay.
I'll give you the DVD.
Let's swap.
Yep.
If nothing else has come out of this live stream, it's that.
Yep.
This Karen Share is fucking excellent. Right, okay, so who's won in that one?
I think the Demons really, but I don't know. I don't know. You kind of argued for the Cops. I didn't really have an argument for the Demons, so we'll give you the Cops.
I'm a big Will Graham fan.
The Cops won. Okay, right. So, Sergeant Howie from the Wicker Man. Now, which Wicker Man?
The original one.
Not the bees.
No, with the vaguely Scottish gentleman.
The really quite Scottish gentleman.
No, well, he wasn't.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
He wasn't actually Scottish, though.
I know, but he was very Scottish.
He was the character was the big fucking 40-year-old virgin, right?
Oh, I keep going the wrong direction. Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon.
Martin Riggs from
Sergeant Howie. That is a fucking odd couple combo.
What a combination!
That is brilliant.
Jesus Christ! Right, let's do this.
Right.
Oh, the monster from the Black Lagoon.
That is too good.
Dead. Not
we should keep these guys on. We should keep these guys on.
Right, okay, let's
keep
them
on.
Right.
Who's next? Come on,
right, they've
give us another one.
fucked them up, right?
Get another one out there. Come on. Anyone you want.
Cave Monster, there's Descent. I haven't seen the Descent, but I really should, I feel.
Do they have torches?
Yeah. They've got natural
Cave Monsters, away.
And the bag.
Next one, keep them coming.
Dead. Right, okay.
Keep them coming. It's a battle royale with Riggs and Howie. That sounds like a good team up. Riggs and Howie.
Riggs and Howie. Pazuzu, the Exorcist.
Oh, from The Exorcist, the demon from The Exorcist.
Is that the name of the demon?
Yeah,
Pazuzu?
well, supposedly, according to Exorcist 2, it was the name of the demon. But then,
But is Exorcist not considered to be...
I don't know. Is Pazuzu mentioned in The Exorcist, the original Exorcist? Guys, Pazuzu only in the second film and the third?
I don't remember.
Film, or was it just the devil in the first one? Was it ever mentioned? Was the name of the demon ever
That
mentioned?
sounds like something they've added in the second one, not to
Possibly.
flesh it out.
I might be wrong. I've got a feeling it might have been something in the book, maybe. Or, not sure. But I'm sure someone will tell us in the comments. I'm sure one of you guys.
Alright, so...
No, I've not seen The Exorcist in years. So.
I'm not entirely sure how the two of them would deal with it.
Oh
assuming one of them got
no!
possessed.
Sergeant Howie, he's like really religious and stuff.
Yeah.
He knows all the prayers and shit to deal with that.
Yeah.
He'd be able to do an exorcism no problem.
So assuming that he takes the spirit and takes it onto himself and then jumps
Riggs
out the window.
Riggs would kill him.
Right, jumps out the window.
Right, so Howie's out, but Riggs is still in, and Riggs has got to get a new partner.
Right.
Right, and Riggs' new partner is Popeye Doyle.
What a combo!
Who's Popeye Doyle? What's he from? What is he from? Tell me. I don't
Gene
know.
Hackman.
Oh, from the French Connection.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Right. Right, okay, that's the big one again. That's the one I've been warned against.
No, you can bring it out if you want.
Right. The Birds. The Birds versus Popeye Doyle and Mark Riggs. Assuming they both had their guns and a car at high speed,
Do they have
I think they'd
machine
be
guns?
alright. No, they don't.
Right, birds are out then. Right, next.
Okay. Dracula.
Oh. Staked out here.
I was assuming they knew to do that. Dracula. Let's on the off chance say, right, let's, in the interest of getting more out of there, let's say that it's a draw.
A draw? Why?
But in the interest of getting more cards out, right, let's say that they ultimately die in the noble quest to defeat
All of them.
Dracula.
Everyone's dead. Right.
Both of those
Dracula
two.
and his minions.
Yep.
So they both get bitten, but then kill each other.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. That's the kill. Like they shoot each other in the heart. Right. As they. Yeah. Right. Okay. Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry. And
Ace in the hole.
what a combo.
RoboCop.
Yeah, Matt Wright is not the best, I'm not gonna lie. Right.
Dirty Harry
And RoboCop versus wait.
the bitch from the ring.
Dirty Harry and RoboCop. Right, so first off, Dirty Harry probably wouldn't watch the telly.
No.
I don't see him.
Dirty
being
Harry
opposed
doesn't
to-
believe in the
And
television.
I don't
I imagine
think-
Dirty Harry is like Ron Swanson in his downtime.
And I don't think
Yeah.
RoboCop would choose to do it either. He's got his own stuff built in. I don't think he would watch it.
I think RoboCop is more machine than human. I don't know if he'd be affected by it all. I don't know.
Plus, he would just be like,
RoboCop would
a
as the
VHS, fuck that, data spike.
yeah. Oh, but RoboCop could upload the whole thing. He could
From a
upload it.
VHS?
Yeah, probably could. I think RoboCop's probably.
I think she would come out.
If you
and
think about it,
just-
RoboCop when he his data spike when he puts it in and stuff comes in the telly, it's like analog, it's got like distortion, so he probably
Nah, I think he'd
could.
fuck her up.
But I think RoboCop and Dirty Harry, between them, they've got the investigative skills to find out the truth
Yep.
and lay her to rest.
And then all of a sudden, 44 Magnum.
Bang, and RoboCop's like machine gun thing. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Right, okay.
Are we keeping them on?
They're both on, right.
Right, okay.
That was a close fought thing, but I think we're keeping them both on.
Oh, fuck. Krug from Last House on the Left.
Out here, dead. Rapist from Last House on the Left, he's dead.
Right,
Robocop shoots Rapist in the balls.
Yep. And Dirty Harry also killed a guy.
Krug gets shot in the balls. Dirty Harry puts his magnum in his mouth and blows the back of his head off. That's how that one ends.
Plus, Dirty Harry's got the classic phrase of, I see a guy running down the street naked with a butcher knife. I don't stop to think he's dressed for, what is it, collecting for the Red Cross. Classic. Right, okay, next one.
I've wrapped these well, mate, I'm sorry.
A fly. Tough one.
Bang!
No, I can't immediately discount them, right? Because a gentleman went in, albeit he wasn't trained to the same extent to those two, but a gentleman went in with a shotgun and the fly got the better of them and melted their arms off. Could his acid melt Robocop's titanium?
No, but he probably did a lot of damage to Dirty Harry.
He's fucked Dirty Harry up probably if he got the best of him. But could he melt through Robocop? Could he melt through his visor to at which point he can melt through his face?
See, so far, Dirty Harry and Robocop, the face, the woman from the ring, right? So they had 7 days to sort that out.
Yeah.
They had plenty of time. Robocop's pretty slow. 7 days is enough time to sort it out. Who's the second one they fought? Who was the last one? Krug. Yeah, he's dead. He's just a normal guy.
I think Dirty Harry's been sacrificed.
Dirty Harry,
Robocop's made, but
they're fighting a visceral enemy here. Robocop's still around, but will rip his paper a wee bit, right?
Right, he's damaged.
To show that he's damaged. But he's okay. He's just taking his face mask off. Alan, have a good night, mate. Take it easy.
And Michael as well. See you later. Yeah, I think we're probably going to need to sign off soon. We're getting
we got a little bit more to do.
But, alright, okay. The free market aliens from They Live. I don't think Robocop would be susceptible to their bullshit unless they manage to get prime directives into them.
Depends how many of them there are, how deeply they've infiltrated the world, but I think Robocop would...
Stay on.
Prime directives is a point though. But Robocop had prime directives that told him to do stuff and he overcame them, so I think he's alright.
No, he didn't overcome them. Ultimately,
he found a way around them.
No, he didn't. The guy got fired.
Yeah, he found a way around it.
And then but only with the help of somebody else.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, so Robocop's still there. Pick somebody else. Help him out.
Yeah. Robocop needs a
sidekick.
Ivan Danko from Red Heat.
Right, okay. That's
Arnie and Robocop.
Right, good combo.
Right, horror character.
Damien. Ooh. Oh. Would Robocop immediately go after a child? I doubt it.
If he hasn't committed a crime, Robocop can't go after him. People die around Damien without Damien ever lifting a finger.
At which point it's just Ivan Danko that's got a suspicion.
Robocop is dead. Right?
He's been topped off a cliff. Right, Ivan Danko.
Robocop gets in an elevator, cable comes down, cuts him in half.
Yep. Okay. So, and then
Ivan Danko
believes that he's dealing cocaine. And then
Ivan Danko, I can't see how Ivan Danko is going to win. I think Ivan Danko is a communist. Therefore, Ivan Danko probably doesn't believe in the Antichrist until it's too late. He's dead also. Never thought that Robocop and Arnold... So we've still got... Damien's still on the pitch.
Right, okay.
Right. Kevin Chan from Super Cop. Not
Jackie Chan classic.
And Ray Tango, Sylvester Stallone.
Ooh, what a combination, right? That's a tough combo. I think if one of them could get the better, they could kick fuck out of Damien.
It's not Damien you've got to worry about. It's the Final Destination style deaths that occur around Damien.
Yeah. But if they, between the two of them, if they could investigatively join forces and work it out.
Are they particularly good at investigations, these guys?
They're both competent police officers.
Open-minded?
Particularly Ray Tango.
Open-minded?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep, and I think that
Can you think of an example?
Kevin Chan would only need to get one kick on him and he'd be down.
Yeah, but it's not Damien you've got to worry about. It's the power of evil itself. You need someone that's gonna...
My concern is that when we don't remove Damien at some point, he could just die.
We could just keep throwing folk at him until we find someone. See if we had the guy from Wicker Man right now, he could take him.
Yeah.
If we find someone like that in this...
So you think they're both not spiritual?
I think they're dead. They're gone.
Okay.
Tequila from Hard Boiled.
Good character.
Roger Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon.
So, well, by your logic, if both of them aren't spiritual enough, they're both dead. Tequila's particularly not spiritual. And neither's Roger Murtaugh. They're both dead.
Fuck's sake, Damien.
He was tearing through them.
Vincent Hanna from Heat.
Okay.
Right.
I don't seem to remember him being particularly...
I'll cheat, right, and try and find someone who's got a chance here, right? No.
Having seen what that just was, we would have been fucked. Jesus,
sorry, guys.
You
just spill the dead air, Callum, and I'll...
Yeah, okay. That's a good combo.
Jack Death
from
Trancers.
Good combo.
Vincent Hanna from Heat is dead, but Jack Death went back in time.
Found Damien. Knew
Found
the shit that he was up to.
He went back in time to Israel in like zero AD and fucked him up. Jack Death, right?
Damien's
time
fucked.
travel. Damien's fucked, right?
Get him a partner.
He's on it. Get him a partner. Jack Death and Gabriel Cash. Kurt Russell and Tim Thomerson on the case.
Fucking
who else can beat them? We got Damien beaten, man. Come on, who else? We're gonna tear through these fuckers. Come on.
Hannibal Lecter versus Jack Death and Gabriel Cash. I think Hannibal Lecter's dead. And all those
Hannibal Lecter would manipulate them, though.
Yeah, they're both very. They're not the most psychoanalytical of the two. I mean, the perfect combination would have been Clarice Starling and Will Graham. If you got the two of them, they would have been able to work together.
You play them
but
off
the thing
against
is,
each other.
even if Gabriel Cash falls down to it, Jack Death can just fucking circumvent time travel again. Imagine you had Jack Death and Time Cop together.
Oh man. But Time Cop's probably better in a way because Time Cop doesn't have to actually use another body. He doesn't have to adapt to another. Because if you don't know, if you've not seen Trancers, Jack Death, the time travel in the Trancers universe, time travel in the Trancers universe follows like the Assassin's Creed model where you travel back in time into one of your own ancestors' minds. So your consciousness travels. So you could travel back into a man or a woman.
Underrated movie.
Really good film. Definitely worth a watch if you guys haven't seen it. If you like it's in a similar vein to the Terminator. It's a little bit more kind of light-hearted and stuff, but it's really good. It's very low budget, but very, very well done. They make the most out of the budget. Definitely worth a watch. 2 unknown films tonight that have come up that definitely should be watched. Demons. At least. Demons, Trancers.
Yep.
Demons, brilliant. In fact, both brilliant popcorn movies. Brilliant for great films to watch on like a night out with some friends and some beers. Definitely worth a watch.
Should we sign this off?
Have we got any more to do?
Should we do
How long have we been?
We have been on for 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours? Fucking hell.
We can believe it flew in.
Should
we do one more and then
should we do one more discussion point before we finish?
Yeah, no, by all means.
Okay. Ooh, what have we got here? What is your most unpopular horror movie related opinion? You don't have an answer for that, do you?
I didn't have an answer. The other one you had was guilty pleasure.
Okay, we'll do guilty. What is your greatest horror guilty pleasure?
Probably the Puppet Master series. I'm a big fan of them. Not that they're critically acclaimed or anything, but there's something about them.
I've never seen the Puppet Master film.
Exactly. Check them out.
That's Tim Thomerson as well, is it not?
No, I don't think so.
It's alright, okay.
But same production company, Dark Moon.
I think he's in one of the sequels. He plays Dollman or something.
Quite possibly. Dollman goes against the demonic toys.
Oh,
that's
okay.
different. That's
but
different.
The demonic toys not also fight
Puppet Master. Separate film.
So same universe.
Yep.
Separate film. Got you. So what's it about?
The Puppet Master series. Essentially, the original one, from what I can remember, is they all go to this place, and essentially the idea. It starts off with this guy who has found a secret vial, which I think is later believed to be ancient Egyptian, which gives bodies to gives life to inanimate objects, and he uses this vial it's almost like a reanimator agent for memory, and he injects it into puppets and they get their own personalities and stuff, and he ultimately gets hunted down by the Nazis, as many did, those dirty Gestapo, and it ends up transpiring to this place later on where this guy has died, I believe, and becomes a puppet himself. You need to watch the movie, but it ends up being this guy that's manipulating the puppets to kill these people at this place. But it's quite good. But there's a shitload of sequels to them as well. But ultimately, the first couple of ones are quite interesting. They're quite creepy as well, just to the puppet designs and stuff like that. They're quite good.
That sounds good.
And I think a lot of people think they're really iconic as well, particularly Blade and stuff like that. These tiny little trench coat.
I think I've seen the trailer to this one.
You most likely well done. It's pretty common.
Yeah. Well, my guilty pleasure, and I think you know this, would be zero budget, shot on video, shot on shitty horror films. The Polonius brothers are kind of the peak of all that.
Splatter Farm and all that kind of.
Yeah, these are guys that I think they live in rural Pennsylvania somewhere. I believe it's in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. They're basically a couple of guys, they're basically twins.
Yep.
From Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, with no film training, no access to proper film equipment, none of that. They're just a couple of blokes who, from their teenage years, have been making horror films in their garage, right?
Yeah.
In the back garden, in their garage. And yeah, these films, I mean, they're trash. Okay, there's no two ways about it. They're garbage, but there's just something.
There's a lot
about
of passion.
You're talking. These are guys that they made a 2001 homage, a space film, in a house, with like bacon trays on the wall to
and
make
they're
the wall
not
look.
in any way affected by any negative.
They just keep going. It's like little. You know, when you're a kid, you're a little boy, and like a juice bottle is a gun, and a like a bit of metal that you found in the garden as a shield, and you just make it up as you go along. It's almost like watching that, but grown up, like adults just playing at it, and it's quite sweet. I mean, some of their films, they approach almost being quite good, and some of them are just absolutely abysmal, but they're always entertaining. They're just a couple of guys having such a blast. And there's a few.
I think it helps to have like a kind of love for them as well, though. I think there'll be a lot of people that would watch them and just go, "This is fucking terrible," but you can see what they've tried to do.
Yeah, it helps to be someone who's interested in filmmaking, I think, because you see someone with no training, no experience, just going out and doing it themselves, and knowing a wee bit even just about some of the short films and stuff that we made, how difficult it's been to get stuff made. These guys with nothing at all have gone out and made films, and I've got immense respect for anyone that just goes out and does it. Just goes, fuck it, there's so much stand against me, I'm going to go out and make films and actually get them into stores, shoot them on a video camera, and the thing is with it's all their friends and their girlfriends and their brothers and uncles and cousins and pals and the guy that runs the car dealership down the road that appear in these films, and so you see the same guys in all of their films, and there's a few different people that work on. There's a guy, John McBride, who has been a filmmaker in his own right separately. He made a few other kind of horror films, like I think he made Wood Chipper Massacre and
all these
Wood Chipper Massacre and Cannibal Campout and all that. But they worked with him for a while, and you see all these faces appear throughout their films. You see people age. They've been making films since the 80s, so you see like people age. So it's almost like you're watching it, but you're also watching the characters behind the film. Yeah. You're seeing the personalities of these people. It's like watching the Trailer Park Boys or something. You're seeing the personalities of these people coming through, the actual actors behind it, and you kind of go like, oh look, there's Todd Carpenter. He was in the other one. He can't act. He's crap, but you like him because you recognise him. He's like a guy. It's like you've seen so many.
You give them a break just because it's so enjoyable.
They're definitely worth a watch. I mean, don't expect good films from it, but they're really endearing. Just their sheer passion for it.
Through,
and sometimes it's sort of like you watch it and you expect it to be bad. Yeah. and yet when they do something that actually works really well, you go, hey, they did that. That was actually pretty cool. It's not like watching a film where you expect everything to be amazing, like a Hollywood film. You expect everything to be good, and you go, oh, that's crap. That special effect sucked. You watch it and you go, okay, this is going to suck because it's just some guys making this movie in their garden. And then when they do something that works, or there's like suddenly like a stop motion scarecrow comes in and attacks them, you go, fuck, that was actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, there's a couple of good shows.
So there's definitely worth a.
I feel like we could go on forever on this one. We seem to have a lot more, but I think this is probably a good point to sign off.
It's been a good
stream,
time, guys.
We've made it, the two of us, and thanks very much, guys, for joining us. And hopefully you'll join us for the next one. I think we're going to have a slightly different setup for the next one.
Hopefully there won't just be one person next time.
we're going to have a more mobile setup, so I think we're going to move to another room of the flat and kind of have a bit more space.
Well, something a bit more thematic than Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah, to do it that way. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks very much for joining us, and have a good evening wherever you are, and we'll catch you later on.
Stay creepy.
Guys. Bye. Yeah.